Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Okay.
She was cursed with a thing that was really fun and No, not quite. She was just going batshit mental with exhaustion.
Oh. I ended up buying her a crap ton of potions to remove said exhaustion. She's still got the potions.
Right, okay,
Enjoy them.
So, welcome to the stream, everyone.
Hello.
I'll do a quick last time and then we'll get into it. We have a new player with us today, so we'll do 5-10 minutes with him to get to the rest of the party. So last time, you travelled back to Gatewood, met Amy, turned her roof into cheese.
Well, they turned her roof into cheese. I searched out for a little statue.
You almost killed a child. You also curb stomped. No, you curb stomped the baby. Did you curb stomp the baby last session? Yeah, curb stomped the baby last session. It was a hag baby.
It was a hag baby.
It was a hag baby.
But we also
didn't your batshit crazy sort of.
No, it was just a.
It was just her.
A hag baby arrived and was like curb stomped it.
Didn't you also give this child that you almost killed a weapon as well?
Oh yeah, a dagger. Yeah. She gave like, a kid a dagger. That won't come back to haunt them.
Sorry for nearly killing you. Here, take this and run home.
Additional overpowered dagger as well. It's like +2 fire damage, lightning damage, free spell slots and minor illusion.
Yeah.
And a few other things.
Oh god, you've given a kid minor illusion.
Yeah, we've given a kid minor illusion. Sorry, Beth has given a kid minor illusion.
But at least it wasn't Molly, who I will kill at some point.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, we know. You haven't met her in a while, actually.
No, you haven't.
She's probably
there will
trying
be
to
a confrontation.
There will be a confrontation. So yeah, other than that, you destroyed a fence and a chandelier, but other than that, you didn't kill anyone, so that's a positive. You were led downstairs. You and the players know that there's a supercomputer downstairs, but don't know as the characters what it is. And the only person that genuinely kind of grasped it was your character.
Yeah.
The other two were just like...
It's a library that isn't a library and it's stupid.
And it's infinite.
And it's stupid.
Eventually, Amy paid off Nikki Cox, her information informant, to actually drag you to Finrasda.
Yeah.
I was going by that point.
Yeah, you were out the door.
You would, yeah.
It took you half a day's travel. Describe the town, city. I'll describe it again for you. Well, when you get there.
Yeah.
And I think you were working at what visas you wanted to get into the city.
Yes.
Okay, you got a visa, but those two were.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get back. So Kylan, he's just gotten past the poison bridge. We'll get to that point. Okay. So you've done all of the backstory. You've just entered the human continent side of things. So you sort of like on your fleeing, because you basically say you fleed for about 2 or 3 days through the poison bridge, flying constantly, keeping alert. Eventually you get past the poison bridge, and there's like 1 or 2 small hamlets, not big towns. So you stop by there, you may get sort of like some lodgings because you have some gold. Yeah. So you're sort of like making do, making buy. You don't know anything about this continent at all. No. So roll investigation.
Okay. First roll.
So that'd be a D20 plus your investigation score.
It is 3.
Okay, that's not too bad.
10.
Right, okay. So let's say you're in these little hamlets. You've noticed that just past the poison bridge, they're just making do with living. It's like very slum-like places. So it's basically people who are on the edge of the world just trying to survive on a daily basis, and they just don't have the means to go up further north. Eventually, after about 2 or 3 days of slumming it around, you do hear information about the general information about the world. So this is like the 3 capitals, cities, where their general location is, what they're like. Upon hearing what they're like, you're aware that if you go to the church capital, you probably draw too much attention. And if you go to the royal capital, you'd probably draw a lot of attention as well, because they're very technologically advanced and they're very into like sort of like experimentation and paperwork. Mm-hmm. So the moment you enter the city, you probably would be put in a mason jar or something.
Would I get the idea from these people that they do consider me as an outlander, and they're like
based off your appearance, because it depends. Are you using your cloak?
I'll be wearing my cloak, but obviously not with the hood up, because no one will be able to see me then.
because of where you've come from, the Poison Bridge, they're actively avoiding you. But obviously, because you're paying for food off them, they'll sort of like give you the food and just not deal with you at all.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of like eavesdropping on conversations in like random broken down taverns and like maybe conversations on the street. You're just trying to learn as much information as you can. But based off that, you learn about the three capitals and sort of like the general world, what's happening. You kind of understand there's a Cold War going on, as in like the three capitals are like eyeing each other up, but nothing is happening, and it's kind of like at a stalemate. That's all you can grasp. So the only capital that you think you would fit in with is Finrasda, which is straight up north from the Poison Bridge.
Okay.
So you do about 2 or 3 weeks travel. I will roll perception. And I will roll a random d8 and see what happens.
Plus 4, 18.
You really good perception. Yeah. You come across 1 or 2 wild animals, but because of your such a high perception, you're actively avoiding them. You're trying to get to Finrasda as quick as you can. Sort of like you want to be safe as possible, trying to obtain as much information as you can about the world around you. Just trying to stay clear of any possible elves or. Because you've obviously met the elves and they didn't give you warm welcome. So so every once in a while you do hear sort of like because you're so close to the Poison Bridge, there's like 1 or 2 sort of like elf encampments. So you avoid those. You actively avoid those.
If I'm forced to go past any, I would be using the cloak for that situation.
Does it give me advantage on stuff?
It basically gives me greater invisibility. So
nice.
He's got Cloak of Invisibility. He's a legendary item. It's a family heirloom. It made sense for it. Made sense for his character to have it.
Yeah,
we were thinking about a hat to disguise as well, but thematically it just made more sense. Visibility made more sense. So it's about 2 weeks travel, actively avoiding stuff. About 1 or 2 days travel inland. You notice you see no more elves. Like they're all gone. They seem to be keeping to themselves. They don't want to go too far past Poison Bridge. They're very
close to home.
Close to home sort of race. So you feel like the moment you get past that, you're 100% safe from the elves, but you never know. Yeah. So it's about a week and a half's travel. You eventually get to a town called Gatewood. You sort of start looking around the town, and it's probably the first decently large town that you come across. So it's sort of like a farming community. They've got like trades, they've got loads of stores and stuff like that. Do you have the map?
It'd probably be the largest settlement I've ever seen. To be honest.
Okay. There's about 2,000 to 3,000 people living here. And they're mostly farm hands, and if they don't have anything to do with farmlands, they've got something to do with the sort of like the export and import of goods, basically.
Right. Okay.
So they're either merchants or farm hands.
2,000 to 3,000, you said.
2,000 to 3,000 people living there.
I'll make a note of that.
So it's a large-ish town.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like medium-sized town. Hello. Eventually, while you're walking through the town. Do you have your cloak on?
My cloak on, but not up.
Right, okay. So you are drawing stairs, but considering the sort of people that have come through before, it's become a natural thing, basically. So while eventually looking around for information, you go to the local tavern, you hear about recent adventurers being here.
Okay.
And they're very odd.
I resent that.
Well, considering there's 2 Outlanders and a group of 3.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, so it's basically the talk of the town. You're hearing every once in a while, there's these adventurers, they destroyed a fence. Or these adventurers, they went to the mayor's and the mayor didn't know what to do with them. Or these adventurers turned a house into cheese.
Sound more like troublemakers than
lots.
But they did deal with the goblins.
Yeah, and they deal with a bunch of goblins, hags. So they've done equal parts good as they've done annoyance, basically. But it seems like the town are putting up with them because they're so good at their job, basically.
You can know it.
You can actively ask for more information if you like.
As I'm trying to keep a low profile, I don't think that would be like the best idea.
You're just eavesdropping.
Yeah, eavesdropping, and obviously, as a very young person, I'm looking for obviously comfort and company that I would feel would suit me and wouldn't put me in any sort of trouble. So an odd group of people sounds like a good thing to
go by,
because that's like, obviously I'm in two minds because they've obviously got the limelight of the town and I'm trying to avoid the limelight.
Yeah.
But if I'm just sort of tagging along and trying not to make too much of a scene, then I can sort of just mould in camouflage with them. And at least I'll feel like I'm in some sort of normality.
So based off the information you're eavesdropping, you don't hear much other than troublemakers, but they've done equal good parts and equal bad. The only thing that you hear about is that they've often gone to see a character called Amy, who's sort of like a local weirdo, should we say. She keeps to herself. Everybody actively avoids her because she's literally paid off the mayor a large sum, and the mayor literally said, "Leave this woman alone," basically. So other than that, that's all you hear.
Right. Okay.
So you can either actively go after this Amy person or stay in the town for another day or two.
Do I get an idea of where she's located from the eavesdropping, or is it just names?
Roll investigation.
10 plus 3, so it's 13.
After a couple of hours, sort of like people start having conversations about it, but then notice you staring incessantly and sort of like quieten the conversation down. So eventually you try to make yourself not so obvious, and then you do overhear a general location of where Amy is.
Right. Okay.
And she is, I don't know the number on the map. I think she's 7 or 8. Is she? It's Time Delver's base. It is.
Time Delver's base.
7 or 8, isn't it?
I can't.
Sorry, it's a pink map. It's not very good.
This is number 8.
Yeah,
we just never filled it in.
Did we not?
No, we didn't.
Oh, because that was before you met her.
This is true. Check it here and there we are. Dan will do it there.
So I'll bring up the map on the stream so people have got a general idea. So
I'm just naming it Amy's house.
Right. Okay.
So there.
So you get to number 8. What do you want to do?
I'm assuming like what's the house look like?
So most of the houses are sort of like wooden but well built.
Mm-hmm.
This house seems a bit slightly more run down. It's not like it's noticeable, but it fits into the area. The one thing that does point out though is it's got like it's got an aura about it, like something. It doesn't match the rest of the housing. You can't put your finger on it.
Right. Okay.
Maybe because it's made of cheese.
No, that's been fixed. Oh no, it hasn't. Yeah, it should probably be fixed.
What I'll do then, very cautiously.
Was he here already? That was quick.
Very cautiously and apprehensive about what's to come. This will be my first proper human contact if I were to do that. I would very nervously give a sort of weak knock to the door. Just, like as someone not bound and confident, just go knock knock, I sort of go like tap tap sort of thing.
You hear nothing for about 10-15 seconds.
Right, okay.
And then from behind the door you hear like a loud bang, a lot of noise. It sounds like somebody sort of like maybe fallen over or something, or tripped, or like basically imagine like a comedy sketch and it's just like they've run into like a table and like everything's fallen off the table.
Sort of
yeah. After the loud bang of noise, the door does. Oh, thank you. Food. Eventually, the door does open, and you are greeted by. How do you describe it? It's a very short humanoid. He looks human, but not 100% human. Roll nature.
Ethan, so what's
nature is.
Aidan, what's in your meal? So
It was popcorn
chicken.
what comes with it?
Chips.
Just the chips?
Yeah, there's popcorn chips.
So that's yours then, and that's actually Stuart's. That.
So I get 2 boxes. Is that?
That's a 16.
You're not very familiar with races other than the ones that you've been the Shadowfells and the Elves. You do know there's human because your parents talked about it, but he's shorter than your average human. So,
Right.
you've been told about dwarves, but he seems a little bit too tall to be a dwarf. Sort of like in between a human and a dwarf. But he's very rough in appearance. He walks up to the door and goes, sorry, I was in a bit of a Anyway, he says, what can I do for you?
Well, I'll be looking towards the ground because, like I said, I'm not going to be the most confident of people.
Yeah.
I heard there might be opportunity here, maybe shelter as well. I've been travelling for weeks and weeks. It would just be nice to talk to someone who might understand my abilities.
Alright, okay, so at the moment you say something about like the general, that he gets the general idea after that conversation, and he goes, "Oh, another weirdo is there? Come in then." And he sort of like he seems quite friendly, should we say? And sort of like pats you on the back and gets you into the house, and he goes, if you give me like a minute," he says, Amy's downstairs, who's my wife. You know, she's a real belter, she is, you know, got the whole package, you know?
No.
You know, you'll understand when you meet her. Fucking amazing. Granted, she does come with a bit of baggage, but you know, who doesn't nowadays?
Okay.
He says, just sit down at the table. Do you want a drink?
Water, please.
Oh no, I don't do any of that stuff here, he says. He says, do you get bourbon, whiskey?
I don't know what those are, so.
So he says, we'll start you off easy then. We'll start you off with a nice draft beer, yeah? Tiny, like he says. So he sort of like clicks his fingers, and out of nowhere beer appears, like a canister.
I instantly feel a little bit more comfortable because someone else I met has sort of innate magical ability. But I'm still like trying to avoid eye contact, and if he has noticed, I do look very young.
Yeah.
I've got very, very pale skin.
And it's slightly dirty, you say.
Yeah.
So
I look almost urchin-like, if you know what I mean. So like, I'll reach my hand out and take the draft beer.
Yeah, and try and drink it. Roll con. Let's see how well it is.
Check or a save?
Just a check.
Avoid all stars.
That'll be 12.
Right. The bitterness hits you first. You kind of don't like the taste of it. However, it's got like a warming sensation. So you realise that, oh, maybe this isn't so bad. And like after a couple of sips, it grows on you, should we say?
Right.
But you're very like, you're drinking out of politeness, basically.
This will be my first alcoholic drink ever.
So you're basically trying not to offend.
Yeah.
And you're trying not to step on any toes. So literally, you're just sipping sip it like as much as you can without offending, basically. Yeah. Alcohol-wise, you seem fine. But it's only a small canister, so like you're not
no like tingling sensation.
No, it's not like ooh. You get after probably drinking about half of it, you start to feel slightly lightheaded, but nothing that would like sort of like alarm bells ring. Yeah. He sort of like goes over to this corner of the room. And then all of a sudden, the sort of like, have you ever seen The Matrix?
Yeah.
So like the floor literally matrixes out of existence, basically. So it's like a digital construct of all these cubes, sort of like. And he sort of like calls downstairs and goes, Amy, we've got another one. And you just hear downstairs and go, oh, Christ's sake, she says. And you slowly hear the footsteps go up the stairs, and it's a highborn elf. So obviously you're
my instant reaction is sort of to cower a little bit.
But then the moment she sees you, she sort of like smiles and she goes, "Oh, Okay, she says. And she was like, I understand the situation. Thank you, Harold. And Harold goes, sort of like stands next to her. And you get
visibly shaking.
Yeah. You get the feeling that Harold's waiting for a reward off her. But she sort of ignores this sort of like pleading. You get the feeling she wears the pants in her relationship.
Oh, yeah.
She sort of ignores this sort of like need of
That's
like
interesting.
thank you very much, and she just ignores him and just walks to the table and sits opposite
She
you.
listening to her bloody
And she
flute.
goes, "Oh, what's your name, darling?"
It's Kylan.
He goes,
Yeah,
"Oh, my name's
suit.
Amy. Where have you come from?"
Past the Poison Bridge.
And the moment you say that, she goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that." She says.
I'm originally from the Shadowfell, but I had to make a quick getaway. Your kin.
She says, "Oh, there's no." She interrupts you. She says, "There's no need. I understand fully." She says, "I'm different." She says, "The moment I was able to leave, I left." She said, she says, "I don't know how long you were there for." She says, "but there's a lot of politics going on, and I didn't want to be a part of it." She said.
They wanted me.
She says, "I'm not surprised. Something that comes out of the Shadowfell has obviously got some sort of divine." She then says, you are divine." She says, "I can tell by the feeling." She says, "You're not touched though." She says, "Are you from the plane?"
I was born on this plane, but my parents were from the different plane where the rift came
So you
from.
can explain this to her, and she goes, "Right, okay. So you're not part of the hierarchy." She says. "That's interesting." She says.
No, my parents were part of a cult, but they grew apart.
She goes, "Oh, okay." She says, "So I'm gonna try and give you as much information as I can about this plane that will help you." She says, "But," she says, "you're probably better off." She says, "I can give you as much information as I can," but she says, "I'm currently in the middle of trying to get more information." She says, "So I'd probably send you off to where my my employees are going." She says.
Are these the people that the town folk talking about?
"Yes, they turned my house into cheese." She says. She sort of like rolls her eyes
I
at
have a
this.
slight sort of quippy smile.
Okay. She says, "There you go. It's not so bad." She says that the elves probably won't chase you down here. She says, "Probably." She says, "Depends how much of a spectacle you made yourself. You didn't make a spectacle of yourself, did you?"
They were very interested in my heritage and my abilities. My parents just told me to run. I don't know if they got away from them or not.
Right, okay. She says, "That's something to look into." She says. So, as a divine being, she says, there's currently there's a cold war going on. She says, "You've probably heard of it already on your travels."
I've heard whispers, yes.
The gods have gone missing, so the fact that you, a divine being, has appeared out of nowhere is going to draw a lot of attention. However, lucky for you, the party that I have employed are drawing attention for the same reasons. When a god favours a mortal on this plane, they become something which is called attached, which essentially they give off a slight blip of divine energy similar to yours, not as strong, she says, because it's innate for you. For them, it's a gift. And the god sort of like watches them and maybe give them a pat on the back once in a while, a little bit of help here and there.
Okay.
So two of the party that are employed are attached. So they're kind of like drawing a lot of attention to themselves. And she says,
No, I'm not.
your best bet, she says, is probably to go to Finrasda where they are, or heading towards. She says they left probably about an hour or two ago. She said.
I don't know where that is.
So she sort of like takes you up to the hut, and she says, if you just follow, she says, you go through those gates over there, which is why the town called Gatewood. She says, just go straight north, and you'll see on the horizon a large construct. She says, if you just follow that, You'll be there probably within a day or two, she says.
Okay.
But she says before you go, though, she says she clicks her fingers and sort of like the dirt sort of like peels off you.
Ooh,
Yeah.
She
said-
Thank you.
She says, I won't personally employ you because you've got your own issues to deal with, it sounds like she says. But if you become an asset to the party, I may induct you into my group, she says.
I can show you my abilities now if you'd like.
Oh, she says, no. And she says, I'm trying to hide here, she says. The fact that they turned my house into cheese was not what I wanted, she said. I'm trying to hide, she says. So,
Like me.
yes, like you. So maybe staying here is an option as well. But I have drawn quite a bit of attention here over the last 2 days, she says. So I am thinking about moving on, should we say? I'm trying to see what they can ascertain in Finrasda first before making any rash action, she says.
Okay. Thank you for your hospitality and your support. I'm sorry if I came across crass, but it's just the nature of my relation with
She sort of like pats you on the back and she goes, don't worry about it. She says, you're probably the first polite person I've met in the last 2 weeks, she says. So she says, she hands you sort of like the care package, sort of like food, rations, stuff like that, water cans and stuff like that. And she said, that'll probably last you about 2 or 3 days, she says. By then you should be in Finrasda and hopefully you'll come in contact. She says, 2 of the party, like I said, are touched. So when you see them, because of your innate abilities, you'll know, she says, who they are. If you don't know this, though, she says, they have a walking tin can with them. It's very loud and obnoxious. You can't miss them, she says.
Can I see them?
Okay.
Must be able to.
I thank
If
her
not, see essence.
and bow my head. I'll leave straight away. Hopefully I can catch up with them. But
She says, don't worry. They got that weird dwarf slowing them down, she says. So Juanita.
Oh yeah.
Dwarf,
Yeah.
not hot.
Not she's technically Mexican, but
I know.
Mexicans don't exist in this
I
world.
know, but she looks laughing, wouldn't she?
as this is the first kindness I've been shown, I would obviously feel a lot more comfortable, and I have a newfound feeling of purpose, which is very completely new feeling to me right now, because I was just with my parents growing up in the church. I was just trying to get to grips with what I could do. So like I said, I thank her and bow, and then I will slowly walk out the door, just turn back and just nod my head again, and then sort of power walk, so to speak.
Yeah, okay.
Quick
North.
march, essentially.
Yeah.
So they're on a broom, so they're going twice as fast as you. So the fact that you're power walking does help.
I can't exactly haste myself when it lasts a minute.
Yeah. So let's say, for example, so we'll go back to the party now. You've literally blipped in with your visa, Garfield. Yeah, Garfield. But these two, and especially Derek, are having trouble getting their own visas. So,
Derek's having a problem.
so
I know a direction.
are you leaving them to their own devices, or are you just walking in?
Well, I walk past and say, they're with me.
I'm starving.
Do you want to take time to eat?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I've been waiting all week for this. Not the KFC. So like I said, it's a fairly elderly lady, sort of like crony at DVLA, sort of like big glasses, sort of like stickler of the paperwork.
Yeah. Oh, great. Well,
Yeah, so
okay.
so like, the moment you say that, she goes, we have rules and administrations here, and the rules must be followed, especially with such charismatic people as these, she says, and she sort of smiles around, and she looks over to Bet Ty and sort of like goes,
Yes. Well, make it quick. We have important business to get on with.
And the sooner you're done here, the sooner you can deal with your important business, she says.
Then hurry up.
Okay. So, Warwick's character, no problem at all. Like, he's a human. So, and he's an adventurer as well. So she's quite more surprised than anything that he hasn't been here before. So, sort of like, he gets the visa within 3 or 4 minutes. So he writes his name paperwork and literally she clicks her fingers and like it's similar to a printing machine but not quite. Think
so an old press.
An old press, yeah. So
1920s,
turn it. Yeah. So he gets like his visa, which is sort of like it's more sturdier than paper but not cardboard. So think more like photograph.
It's in the middle.
Yeah. She tells Warwick that it's got a slight enchantment on it, which allows it to be pervious to weathering and conditioning and stuff like that. But if you physically wanted to rip it,
then
you could, but it's difficult to do.
Yeah, like the new notes.
Yeah, basically. Then it gets to Beth and Ty and Derek, and she sort of goes, so who are you? And Derek goes, I'm Derek. And she goes, yes, could you give me a little bit more than that? And he goes, well, I was in a furnace, and then these guys put me in armour, and they told me that, well, I was a part of Moradin, but they believe that I'm a toe of Moradin, but I don't think I was a toe. I just think I was just, and while he's ranting about this, she's sort of like, her eyes widen slowly, and she's just like, and then at the end of the conversation, she just goes, right, she says. And you, miss?
Yes.
And she says, who are you?
I'm Ty.
And she says, I'm guessing this is a theme, she says. I'm not really amused, she says. Could you, specifics, dear?
I'm Ty. That's all you need to know.
Oh dear, she says. Business or pleasure, she says.
A little bit of both.
So she says, I can give you a temporary visa, she says, which would give you access to the first 2 discs, she says. But you got your visa quite easily.
What one?
You got the access to the first 2 discs as well.
Okay.
But like literally, she saw that you're human, took the venture, you showed the tag, you were sped through essentially. But these two are having a bit of a problem.
So how long does a temporary visa
So
last?
she says about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on which one you want. She says 2 weeks is usually for pleasure, and then 3 weeks is for sort of like people seeking business opportunities. Should we say? She says, and then she says after that, then you'd return here, and if you haven't caused any problems, you may apply for a permanent visa, which will take 48 hours. She says. After that, which we won't know play in 3 or 4 weeks, we'll assume that you automatically get the visa, okay? Because I don't really want to.
You have no idea what we can do in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
This space is going to be fondue.
So she says after that, then she says that's for the pleasure side. She says, or if you're trying to do some deals and your business is elsewhere. She says. However, if you want to start your own business here, she says, you would need the backing of the Merchant Guild.
Okay.
So she said, I'll give you a temporary visa, she says, and then after that, then if you want to start your own business, which she's looking around, she says, which seems to be a running theme, she says, you can go to the Merchants Guild, she says, and she sort of hands you, yet again, printing press. Eventually she hands you to this like slightly laminated piece of paper. Derek gets the same thing, but she's sort of like where she's wary of you, but she's more wary of him because literally
big, brutish, and silver.
Yeah, and the backstory he gave, he's the toe of Moradin, doesn't really sit well with the.
No.
Is he like literally a whirling dervish, like? Or what exactly?
He's a large set of armour essentially with an air elemental trapped in it.
Oh, right. So it's like a tornado that has legs that goes up into armour, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with MTG?
Yeah.
Calm. Picture calm.
Calm liberated.
Not that
Planes
one.
walking.
No, only recent
Oh, okay.
That's problems, not problems. We're
Um,
to show because
So,
In my mind, it's a WoW character called Alakir.
while she's chatting to these people, you come across it, and like she said, you'd sense them, and you sense these two, Garfield and Ty, but then you also notice when she talked about an obnoxious tin can, you see this huge hulking.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. You see this huge hulking sort of like tin of armour, basically.
Maybe not quite as
Intro types?
Yeah. What?
Intro types for descriptions?
What do the two touched look like to me?
So, describe yourselves. Well, all three of you describe yourselves.
You don't know races. For all intents and purposes, I am smaller than halfling. I am 3 foot and fat, 3'1", and I have black leather trench coat.
You might actually be something that I recognise as the cult my parents came with them through the rift, and
I am.
possibly
I am a gnome.
other
but,
outlanders would be. With them.
I am a gnome. You character know this. You player know this. Character probably definitely does not. Mainly because I have a thick brimmed hat and it's very rare that my face is shown.
Right. Okay.
And I'll tell a description of the face as and when it happens. Yeah. Think typical Western. I've got my trench coat. Yeah.
Touch first.
Oh,
Awesome.
I am an elf, but I'm not your everyday elf. I have very dark hair and grey skin, very dark eyes,
Right. Okay.
very foreboding.
What are you wearing right now?
I am currently wearing some rather fetching Pope robes in a nice deep black, and I have a sort of black tiara on that has the crossed scythes at its apex.
Like as a player, are you a drow or just a regular elf?
she's not a drow,
Not a drow.
but she's a sub race of elf, which is sort of like connected to the shadow of elf.
So you look both familiar and menacing to me at the same time.
Yeah, that's what people seem to be around me, is a bit.
And then a bit disjointed from the rest of this lord's unusual count, there's just a black human man standing on the side in sort of what you would assume noble robes, but without all the frills and like all the puffy bits. A big long sword that looks very eloquently made over their back and like a slight bulge on the side.
Can you probably get a thing from the sword? Isn't the sword divine?
Yeah, but he didn't. He can't attune to it. So
No.
Does he get a ping from
Yeah,
the
a
sword?
ping from it.
Yeah,
Sort of thing.
so you get ping from the
Sorry,
sword.
just thinking
From
about
the
that. Yeah.
staff.
So
Is a staff out. Did you not put it in your bag?
Oh yeah, it is in my bag.
Otherwise, like neck length, black straight hair and goatee.
Okay.
And then describe your character.
Well, I would walk up and I guess say, excuse me, and then if you were to turn around, you would see a very young looking, in your eyes, you'd probably think it's human, but very pale skin, but it's got very golden yellow eyes that look really out of character with a normal human. I've got jet black hair, which is a bit shaggy, as it's not well maintained, as I've been travelling for a while. So it's probably about just past, about halfway down the neck, and a bit like messy and swept in the front. But on me, you see a amazing quality cloak, jet black, and with almost sort of shimmer to it, that you would probably notice straight away as some sort of magically touched item. But I'm not looking at any of you. I'm looking down to the ground. And I say,
Oh yeah, that's the point. How
Egg.
tall are we?
Amy asked me to find you.
and why?
I'm
Uh,
six
How tall
foot.
are you?
I'm 5'8".
5'8",
I'm
so you're
6
taller than me. So you're looking down at me. No choices there.
I'm
3'1".
6'2", so yeah.
Jesus Christ! I could climb all of you and
Yeah.
fucking
Rock the
Yes,
raccoon.
is that how we can give advantage?
pretty much. Just need to make a machine gun.
Um,
It's a project.
she didn't really give me a reason to find you, so to speak. I'm just looking for shelter and company. I'm kind of on the run from her people.
Oh no, trust me.
So
There's a disconnect.
Um,
I robbed them blind before I left.
Oh, I didn't know you did that. What do you rob from them?
She doesn't have to tell us.
I'm asking her.
Oh, it's all gone.
Alright.
It got me here.
Oh, great. Right, yeah.
she said that I would find comfort in a group like yours.
Maybe.
Well, while he's talking, Derek sort of like squints his eyes slightly and then realises, and he sort of goes, "Oh, it's another one!
Another one
Yeah, another one!
of
A divine things.
divine. Come on, man.
I just say he's stronger than
You're
you
getting a
two.
strong ping from him, by the
What?
way, for divine.
So he's touched.
No, he's stronger than touched.
Oh, he's like a god then.
Avatar?
No, he's weaker than Avatar. Think like,
An angel.
he's weaker than an angel. He's like an apprentice Avatar thing.
Ah.
Oh.
What's the old lady's reaction? I'm more interested in that.
The lady's just slowly sort of like putting a sign up like, I'll be back in 10 minutes. Like she just does not want to be a part of this conversation. And then Nikki Cox, like the sort of like starts bashing in on the window and she goes, "Oh, love! Oh, I need my visa! Don't go anywhere." And at this moment the old lady's just like, "Bye."
Who's Nikki Cox?
So you see a man in sort of like 50s, 60s, sort of well dressed, slightly flamboyant, bald head. But then as you closer inspect, you probably don't know what makeup is, do you?
No.
So sort of like he's got sort of like effeminate features painted on his face.
I know like face paint
Yeah.
and stuff.
So he's got effeminate features painted on his face.
Right, okay.
And next to him, then there's a female dwarf that appears to be scraggy brown hair, bit of kempt, like massive forearms, and she's sort of like twitching and looking around. She seems to be preoccupied with what's sort of going on around her.
Right, okay.
But Nikki Cox is sort of like banging on this door, and eventually the elderly woman comes back and she's just like, I'll give you what you want, just please go away, over there somewhere, she says. And she sort of like bashes Nikki Cox in and she's like, "Who are you?" And Nikki Cox goes, "I'm Nikki Cox, like, you know, show business, entertainment, that's my gig. Oh, and I deal with information." And
Does he have a cigarette or is he pretending?
no, she's got an actual cigarette, which is native to this plane, but she's from our plane, so she's been dropped here, and in order she met Amy to basically reconstruct these cigarettes, so she can so basically her payment is the cigarettes basically. Yeah, she's that much of an addict. So eventually she's just she gets her visa. Juanita gets her visa quite easily as well. Because I clean things. And she goes, "So you're a maid?" And she goes, "No maid, I just clean, whether they want it or not." And she goes, "So okay." So they get their visas, and Nikki Cox goes, "Right, okay. So he's with us now. I'm assuming because Amy's like sent him over here. Shiraz, fanfare, congratulations, I mean, considering who you're with, you're not the weirdest one," she says.
I'm like overwhelmed by the amount of people right now.
Yeah. She says, "Don't worry, they won't bite you." "Well, they may bite you." "Well, this one in particular," she says.
I don't know. It's in anybody.
No.
I didn't
You can't prove
consider
nothing.
He points to the elf, or she points to the elf, and I'm like that biting you, and like I can clearly relate to that.
Yeah. So she goes, but she's not your average elf though, but you'll get to know her. So she goes, "Right, so we'll go in. I need to go to Dis 4 somehow, but I don't have access to Dis 4. Amy kind of really didn't send me with a plan here. She just said to take you to Finrasda and get you out of the hair. So I need to somehow get in contact with the person in Dis 4 so we get a format up there."
We're allowed in the city, right?
Yeah, disc 1 and disc 2.
Disc
You're
one.
If she's just dumping us, I'm gonna try and find my way to the Merchant's Guild.
Do I get my visa without issue?
no issue at all.
No issue, right?
Well, considering the people that predecessed you,
Yeah,
she literally just, like I said, she rushed
Yeah,
the last
pick one
three.
up, that one.
She asked the last three to get away, basically.
So special about you then? Why'd she send you?
I've come from beyond the Poison Bridge, and I was being hunted. I'm just
Who was hunting you?
her people,
Are they still hunting you?
possibly.
If you draw them to me, that would be a lot of fun for me. That would be a lot of fun.
Do you not get along with them?
Oh, no. No.
Will you protect me?
Yes. If it means I can kill as many of them as possible, yes, it does.
I've already just walked off by this point.
Oh Jesus!
I've got jobs to do. I've got lots to get on with.
So Derek, you're the first person that doesn't seem to want to bite his head off. So Derek's actually giving you a hug at this point. He goes, "Don't worry, it's just cold. You've got your body heat warms me up." He says, "It's not." Anyways, after about a minute or two of doing this, he's sort of like he's not letting
Actually,
go.
my body heat's quite cold.
Oh right.
He'll be
yeah.
out of practice with hugs. It will have been several thousand years. And he will.
Well, I didn't
bring
have
up-
a body back then either, so this is a new experience. Well, the second hug that I did, the first hug I did him, and it didn't really go well.
Did who, sorry?
I know, yeah.
That's a
He's
big
Moradin
size
likes
difference.
him, so I'm.
For all intents and purposes, I am its master.
He
More or
goes, I
less.
wouldn't go that far. I just follow it because Moradin was nice to him, and I'm like, Moradin, yo, and she's not answering me. Or he's not answering me.
He's
Actually,
not,
I never found out her gender, so that's obviously.
he's not answering me either.
They're busy, he says. I think they're busy. Oh, they're dead.
Thing.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. I've now also got an amulet of Tron as well. I got on my neck. I forgot to mention that
Amulet
on
of
the descriptions.
what, sorry?
Tron.
They're one of the
Oh,
gods.
one of us.
I think I went there with the gods generally with you.
Yeah, like I can't remember exactly. There's like
Don't worry,
God of magic, God of death, and I can't remember the other gods.
Don't worry.
Because I know there's a secret seventh god you mentioned.
Yeah, not many people talk about, but she's known basically. So yeah, you enter the city. Do you have the maps with you?
Yes,
Yeah.
they are all there.
That one's the one where.
So you enter disc 1, which is the
Right.
one with the two
No, no.
fields on it. It's got the two green squares.
That's disc 2.
And that's the.
chapter.
At this point, I'd probably just be following Tay because she promised to protect me. So.
Okay. So as you enter the city, oh wait, I didn't describe the outside to you. So it's like a huge skyscraper and it's massive, and there's like cogs and pistons on the outside, and it looks like a living construct but made out of metal. So it's like everything's moving in tandem, and it just looks like a grand spectacle, as I describe it.
It would be absolutely completely foreign to me. I
Yeah.
would feel incredibly intimidated and nervous just by like seeing all this thing that I can't even understand. I wouldn't even know it's technology. I would just know
Yeah. It's something.
it's just
It's, the way I would describe
I would
it
just
is
think
it's
magic.
like a metal wedding cake, but as a city.
Yeah.
It's tiered.
Yeah. So as you enter the first disc, you see loads of farmlands, loads of people in overalls walking to and fro. It looks like planned chaos essentially,
Right.
and like everyone's going to and from.
Everyone's busy.
Yeah, everyone's doing their job basically, and everything is like packed and compiled together. So there's like one sort of like medium-sized road for like cars to go through. But other than that road, like all of the passageways are probably like just a person's width, basically. That's how compact it is.
Single file then.
Yeah. You two have ear to the ground, so you
Yeah.
know the general area.
Yes.
Um,
This is my old town as well.
Yeah. Okay.
For the duration that I've been in this land, this is where I came from, originally from the Forgotten Realms.
So Nikki Cox goes, all right, okay, so right, we'll go. So you're going to the Merchant Guild.
I've already gone
Oh, she goes,
by this point.
oh, he's gone. Oh, well, that's not useful anyway. She says, let's go to the Merchants Guild. And after that, then we'll make a plan, she says, because I need to find this informant. Oh, that reminds me. I think Amy gave me something, she says, and she sort of like pulls out, how would I describe it? Like a BlackBerry, essentially.
A mobile phone, yeah?
It's bigger than a mobile phone.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Like an old but bulky phone, essentially, with a screen.
Slide up
Yeah,
and then
with
a
a screen.
keyboard.
And she sort of like starts, she says, she sort of like presses the green button on it, and sort of like you see sort of like the screen sort of like you hear like just like your generic ringtone, and eventually she gets through to Amy, who's like, oh hello, oh you made it, that's good, I sent somebody over there with you, and she goes, yeah, we got the bugger, he's
Didn't catch his name though.
My name is Kylan.
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 Yeah.
Kyle.
No, Kylan.
Kyle.
His name comes from my parents, Kylan.
Kylan. I'll get all of that soon.
She goes, right, anyway, so we got the bugger, what do you want me to do with him? And Amy just goes, well, he seemed useful and he was pinging off divine energy, so I just didn't want him here, she says.
She doesn't have a good track record of something pinging divine energy
Amy,
being
Amy,
useful.
you enjoying the cheese?
She looks at you blankly and just goes, she just ignores you. Anyway, have you talked to any of the informants? She says. Amy goes, no.
We've only just bloody got here.
Oh yeah, I rang you to see if there was any plans or stuff, you know. And Amy just goes, no, I sent you to get information. You know, I paid you to do this. And Nicky Cox goes, all right,
You didn't pay me.
Ooh.
We only just got here, Amy. Jesus.
Nicky Cox goes, fucking bitch. And she goes, why did I call you again? And Amy goes, I don't know. Are you, what, why?
Nicky, put Derek on. That'll cheer Amy up.
Fucks.
She goes, all right, okay. Oh no, I've got a better idea. Juanita! And Juanita sort of like picks up the phone and goes, oh, his screen dirty. I get the cloth out. And Amy sort of like at this moment just hung up.
Nice.
Is that just Juanita's personality the whole time?
Yeah, just no, yes, no.
Yeah.
I clean.
She's the next tomb dwarf.
She's got OCD basically. It's the payment for ability, which I don't think any of you know about.
I don't think no, not in character anyway. This is actually Ant-Man.
We've seen the shrink, the
House.
sleaze
Ant-Man. Ant-Man's the house.
Okay. So Nicky Cox sort of like leads you to the Merchants Guild. How far ahead are you?
I'm actually looking for Higgins or Lavish Darling.
Those are. Let me get my names out. I need to actually get my notes off in front of me. That's my dirty box. My dirty box. Lavish Darling.
Discord. Somewhere.
Gatewood and
Green things.
They're the farmlands outside the
That's
city.
farmlands. And that's not been marked for a reason. And that
12 is here on this one.
So who are you looking
the
for?
Royal Army Outpost.
Pardon?
Who are you looking for?
Either Lavish Darling or Higgins, whichever one I would think would be closer.
The people.
Mm-hmm.
Roll navigate. What would be navigation? Investigation.
Advantage due to ears on the ground?
No.
11.
You were given names, but not specific places. So, based off that roll, you'd probably conclude that you'd probably need to learn the names from locals.
Okay, so I'll start asking you now. Where do I get to Lavish Darling or Higgins? Or
I'm
whichever
a
one's
local.
closest?
I'm a local, technically.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know this.
I
You've
think
never...
I think it might have come up.
It may have come up.
Home. In passing, sort of thing. And you've seen that I got through without any plan, so.
Yeah, I know, but I've already gone off.
True this, yeah, so yeah.
After asking a couple of locals, eventually, Lavish Darling sounds like somebody from the Actors Guild, so they'd be on disc 2. So you'd probably have to go towards Colosseum.
Mm-hmm.
And Higgins is a local tavern, sort of like, not local tavern rat per se, but people go there for like not the most best of dealings, should we say.
That's interesting, because on my notes I've got Lavish Darling being the one in the tavern and Higgins being the Colosseum guy.
Oh, the other way around.
Yeah.
In which case, let me just double check that.
Because I knew that one of them was in a Colosseum and one of them was in a
Is it
tavern.
Miggins, not Higgins?
Maybe.
Yeah, in which
I've
case,
got Higgins on my notes.
it's Miggins then.
Okay.
Okay, whoops.
So yeah, so Miggins is the one in the Colosseum, and other way around, basically.
I think for now I'm going to stick with Nikki.
Okay.
If she asks me something, I'll try and do what I can to help her.
So you're going off on your own essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do the rest of the party then. That's okay.
Yeah.
So Nikki knows the general area information informer. So she literally just saunters over to the Merchants Guild. When you get to the Merchants Guild, yet again, it's just people walking everywhere. So for you, it's sort of like slightly claustrophobic.
Claustrophobic as fuck.
Yeah. So after about 10-15 minutes of walking, you eventually get there. So the Merchants Guild is... All the buildings that you walk past have so far been built for practicality, so sort of like, think metal boxes essentially.
Yeah.
With sort of like what are the bolts and stuff on them. This is the first house that looks a bit more authentic. So it's made out of the combination of metal and woods. I don't know how the woods got in here though, so obviously they were probably imported by the Merchant Guild. It's a fairly large building, so it's a small warehouse.
Nice, yeah.
As you walk in, there's like a large foyer with people coming in and out. There's 2 or 3 reception desks on either side, and there's one in the middle, and they're sort of like talking to people with notebooks and stuff. Are you letting Nikki Cox do the talking, or?
For as much as I need to, yes.
Right.
Until she asks me, maybe. I'm getting, because it's my old town and Year to the Ground, I do know a bit more about.
Yeah. So let me just see what we need to do here.
What's this Ear to the Ground thing?
It's my background. I'm a urban bounty hunter.
So it's like a mini feat essentially.
Yeah. But,
It's our feature, whatever your feature may be, I don't know what one.
He's
What background it
far
is.
travel.
I don't know. I can't remember the feature what it is.
I don't think there was anything. It's just like I think he knew next around language, I think. So Nikki Cox just saunters over to the main reception, and you sort of see like a woman.
Yeah, I just wondered.
Sort of woman in her 20s, sort of like very pristine looking, uptight bun. It's all very show and business essentially.
Yeah. Is it very clean?
Yeah, very clean. Think of like a 5-star hotel clean.
Nice.
So varnishing everywhere.
Yeah, they're kissing ass.
This is just like a residency of someone.
No, it's the Merchants Guild.
Oh,
So
that's the
essentially,
whole guild,
business
right, okay.
people are coming in now to do business.
Yeah.
So where you're in now is a foyer reception. So it's all about show and grandeur and people doing business deals and stuff like that. So Nikki Cox sort of saunters over to the receptionist. The receptionist sort of looks up and sort of like is taken aback slightly by the makeup. And Nikki goes, "Hi, love. Kid Rocky's expecting us. Just say it's an old friend." And the woman goes, "Yes, old friend." And she emphasises the word old.
Feature.
And sort of walks off. And after about 5-10 minutes, Nikki Cox sort of eventually walks over to one of the sides of the foyer, and there's essentially a Starbucks in there. So she's ordered herself a coffee, and she's like sipping on a coffee. And
Fitting quite
When
nicely what's been the narrative of
Juanita is marvelling at how clean the foyer is, so she's distracted by the varnishing. Oh my god, they use so much in here. Oh, it's a bit excessive. I would not do that. I au natural. No, a little bit of spit, it's just... Oh, not my spit, obviously, because that's disgusting. But no.
I as a character
Who's
have no
spit?
idea what she's saying.
I ignore her.
No, who spit?
You were rolling around in that floor up on stage.
Yeah, you were.
I mean, you have. We won't talk about that.
So eventually, the woman comes back in 5-10 minutes. She goes, "Oh, Ricky Road is a little busy right now, but we have set sort of like a commerce room available for you. So if you sit there, he'll be with you in the next couple of minutes." So she ushers you to the upstairs, to the right, and you see this long corridor, and there's just people coming in and out. It just looks like this is where the outside deals are made. Yeah. So you hear people coming in and out and saying, you know, this deal has been made, and there's a lot of signatures going on, and you're led down about halfway down the corridor, so about a 2-minute walk, and eventually you get to a medium-sized room, so probably something slightly bigger than this, and it's sort of like a round circular table in the middle, and it's like a conference room essentially. She says, "Oh well, I'll sit down then." She said, and "Kid Rocky will be with you in about 5 minutes." So she closes the door behind her, and Nikki Cox sort of says to herself in about, "Thank God I got bloody coffee," she says. And she sort of like puts it on the table and sort of like is just smoking on a cigarette.
I'm ignoring her stuff.
Right, okay, both of them. Derek the whole time has just been going, oh, that's good, isn't it? Oh, I love craftsmanship. Oh, yes. Because
speaking of craftsmanship, it's free time for Derek.
It is free time for Derek.
It's only 5 minutes though. Can I just look around? He says. I just. Are there any cats?
No.
Why? What? Do you know there's
just sit down in the corner and
no pets, Derek.
No.
You're our pet.
Remember what happened to the last one?
And friend.
I don't remember what happened to the last one.
You smashed a squirrel.
Lenny. You went for Lenny.
I didn't. I hugged him.
To death.
And he died.
You picked up the squirrel.
For Lenny.
There was an incident with a wolf as well.
Yeah.
He sits down in the corner and he does not look amused.
Oh, baby pouted.
Yeah.
What's free time?
This, what he's doing now, nothing, fuck all.
Oh, okay.
God, you really are blue, aren't you?
Nice peace and quiet.
Yeah, you're really blue, aren't you?
I'm white.
I'm just gonna poof my gun into my hand and start cleaning it.
Nikki Cox is just looking over it.
Yeah, poof, gun in hand, 6-shooter.
Ooh.
Nikki Cox just looks over to you and he goes, "The real charmer you are, aren't you?"
Here he is.
I'm just new to all this. It's all a bit much.
Oh, don't worry. We're all new to it at first. You just gotta put your best leg forward, innit?
I'm gonna cast Minor Illusion and put a gun in my hand as well.
Oh, that's really cute. Poof. Rifle. But you don't know what this one is.
What rifle?
I haven't got any left actually. Ooh, no, I haven't. Oh well, tough. All of a sudden, you see a circle thing in my hand.
And then I just copy of what it looks like.
Yes, you just keep copying what I do. That's cute. That's real cute.
So eventually, after this,
I can go one for one on this.
To me, it just looks like
No.
A circle thing.
you're creating something.
I'm just
I don't know
watching.
what
It's
it
like a game
does.
of tennis. My head is just
Exactly
going
that.
I'm just
back
like,
and forth.
Yeah.
I-
meanwhile, Dan,
Um,
where are you?
It's a grenade.
Which one's closer?
Any of them.
okay.
The
I
quality
guess
is more
it
at the
would be
end.
that big in your hand.
The inn, probably.
Head to the end then.
So you're travelling for about half an hour using gears to the ground to find out where the general inn is. You eventually get to the inn, which is named.
No, they
Let me get the
that
names
size.
for you.
It's still pack a punch. 5 or minus 1d6.
The Smoky Lane.
8 hours to make.
Smoky Lane, yeah.
Expensive.
You're looking for lavish, darling, aren't
No,
you?
not
Yes.
really.
Okay.
Not for me at the moment anyway. I've only got
So you walk up to the bar.
18,000.
Tavern, there's 2 dwarves, and it's sort of like past midday. So it's not busy, but it's not quiet either. It's more like the lunch periods.
If I
People
can-
having like pub meals and stuff like that.
To make them.
How many people about?
Gunsmith.
About 10, 15.
For it.
Okay.
Which,
Go order a drink and say I'm looking for lavish darling to the bartender.
So the dwarves look over at you and go, "Oh, lavish!
Yeah.
Oh, I'll get it for you now."
Thank you.
Goes back into the kitchen and sort of like a half-elf, female half-elf comes out.
Yeah.
Sort of like in an apron. It looks like she's essentially the chef. And she sort of goes, "Lavish darling, my name is owner and proprietor. I'm also the chef as well. How can I help you?"
I'm looking for information.
"Oh, well, you've come to the right place. Lavish darling knows a lot of things," she says.
Amount of it, I think, but
Good. I hope you know what I'm looking for.
"Well, what can I do for you then, strapping young fellow?" she says.
I need to find the nurse's one to see what's different.
Please, that's first of all, we're a little bit more discreet for this
It's just
for information.
He did it based on that.
Of course, she says. At this moment, she's dropped the facade fast.
Yeah.
Sort of like takes you to a back room. There's like one person in here, but he's reading a book.
Looking for a man named Dole. I think you may know of him.
Ah, are you with Amy's lot?
Yes.
Right, she says. She's become a bit of a spectacle recently, she says. Very big now, she says. She's
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Amy is the name that people are talking about underneath their breath.
Okay.
Really fascinating person, she says. You don't often find somebody of her stature and leveling and caster level outside of the royal capital or the Elven nation.
Sorry.
Okay.
She's trying to hide herself, but everybody's got a general idea of where she is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's very good.
Well, I'm not interested in her. I'm interested in all.
It's
Right, of course, she says. Why did I bring her up?
doesn't do any of the thief stuff.
Oh, that's right, that's why I knew. So, you know Maggie Smith?
Vaguely, yes.
Yes, Maggie Smith, one of the locals at the Magic College. Always been recently dipping his hands in the magic items of late around these parts. Some of the people are not amused with this, of course. You don't want a competitor to just randomly show up and start taking some of the cuttings, you know?
But it wouldn't be his first time.
She says, "I don't really know much about his past. I only know what he's been here for the last 2 or 3 months for."
Okay.
Word has it that Maggie was paid a sum and kept on the hush-hush to keep him distracted for a couple of days.
And where is he now?
Probably Maggie Smith is probably the best person to ask.
Fantastic. Where would she be now?
She's usually at the Magic College, very good at enchanting weapons and armory. That's probably the reason why he went to go see her.
Where's she looking at while she's saying this particular sentence?
Pardon?
While she's saying this sentence, where is she looking?
Looking directly at you.
At the word Magic College, I get up, put down a gold coin and start walking out.
She goes, "Oh, thank you for the business," she says, "and I'm really good at this," she says. And she sort of like slowly puts her head into her neck like this, like awkwardly. So that's you're heading to Magic College.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to get
Back
some
with the
money.
party. Meanwhile, eventually, sort of like the door sort of slams open and enters this sort of like very brawny, very tall, dragonborn, bronze scales, a couple of scars. He sort of walks in and he's got a really big sort of like grin on his face, which is a bit offsetting because obviously pointy teeth. Yeah. And he sort of smiles and goes, "Oh, lovely to meet you all. Amy has said so much." And he looks over to you and goes, "You're the one that I've heard a lot about, especially little troublemaker."
Oh no, all good, I hope.
And he sort of like grabs your hands and kisses it. Well, no lips, but sort of like you feel something. You feel something on your hands.
That's all.
I'm just gonna, yeah.
There's no
I get my
saliva or
hand back
anything.
and sort of Check it's all alright.
Didn't say you were a real belter though.
Yes.
Again.
It's true though. That's how it's funny.
So he goes, right, anyway. He sits down and he sort of goes, so what can I do for you? So Nicky Cox sort of comes, alright, you probably know who I am. And he goes, yeah, I've heard of you. I mean, I mean, I've heard of the information informant Nicky Cox. And she goes, drag queen first. That is my gig. And he goes, right, of course, I apologise. And she goes, right, anyway, to the information bit, as you said. It's sort of like irons it out. We want to start a business because, you know, business will get us information. People will come and go, you know, we'll be hiding in plain sight. Bloody perfect. And then once we get big enough, I'll be able to get to the goddamn fourth disc and deal with this fucking informant up there. And Kid Rocky goes, well, why don't you just go up there now if you know somebody up there? She goes, well,
She's only got a temporary visa.
And Kid Rocky goes, okay, so you're applying for a business visa to get to the third disc.
Yes.
Okay.
My permanent lets me go wherever the fuck I want, however, whenever.
No, to the first two discs.
First two?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought let me go through. Three as well, no problem.
No. Like, we discussed it. You
Yes, we did,
you said you may have been up there,
Yeah.
but you haven't opened your own business, so it was like just come in and go in. So you might have been up there once or twice, but not much. So Nicky Cox goes, right, I want to open a business, and so how do we do this? So he goes, right, okay, so he sort of like gets like a pad from behind him, and sort of like starts opening his notes, kind of like what I'm doing now. If I can find the quest. Oh my god, there's so much paper. Quest. Why have I mixed this all together? No, that's last week's Killing Goblins. Oh, you got second now. So he says, as you know, in order to practice businesses on here, you need to have a work visa, which is what you're asking about. It's basically a contract that allows you to work independently, to allow yourself to do whatever business you're doing. So that could be building weapons, or armories, or
importing cheese.
could be a food industry. We don't turn away anybody. We accept everything, basically, he says.
He said weaponry, didn't he?
Yeah.
So if you want your own business and a working visa, are you all applying for the working visa? Are you working together? And then your Cox goes, that's probably best, like, innit? Because I'm a drag queen, but you're probably wanting more weapons and armory, and these people know their shebang, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, she's getting her own. It's getting her own.
I thought she looks over at you and glares.
I don't care.
So he basically outlines the detail of what you need to do. So you basically have 3 tests that you need to pass in order to get the work visa. So have an interview with one of the leaders of the Merchant Guild, who you're talking to now, one of the leaders.
So what was that one, sorry?
Have an interview with one of the 3 leaders of the Merchant Guild, and you're speaking to one of the leaders.
Does it count? Does this count?
Well, we'll find out, won't we? They must pass the interview, so it's dependent on which leader you're talking to, how you pass. Number 2, have an exhibit of a crafted item or service.
Gather around.
The Merchants Guild then holds an auction at the end of the exhibit, and to pass the test, and you pass the test if the leader who you had the interview with is satisfied with your item. Doesn't necessarily have to sell, but if it sells, it's like extra points, basically.
Auction and demonstration at end, essentially, isn't it?
Have the crafted piece of work or service passed a practical test, whether this be a combat situation or where the piece would be most used.
There we are.
With the cheese, whether or not it's eaten.
Basically,
Does it eat?
Find an item, show it off, and
Oh, that's easy.
try and
Once all the tests are passed, the party or player
What was the third one, sorry?
have the crafted piece of item do a test, basically.
Oh, so it's interview with leader, have an exhibition, auction and demonstration, and then a proper demonstration with the leader, isn't it?
Once the tests are passed, the party or player who's doing the test must set out a contract with one of the 3 leaders. This usually means they are given a percentage of earnings given to the guild. The one thing not negotiable is that they must be willing to fight or help a cause in Finrasda if necessary. So literally, you're not a part of the militia, but if you're opening a business in Finrasda, if things go south, you have to give a percentage more of your gold of all crafted items to the militia, essentially.
Like tax.
Army
tax.
That's where I cook the books.
Once the contract
so to
is
speak, supply the arms.
Or do that.
once the contract is passed, they are given a work permit, which is a leather patch that is sewn on an article of clothing. It looks like a gun with a coin behind it. They are also offered a plot of space on the 3rd disc, which they pay rent on. Which they may eventually buy off them, so you could eventually buy the plot of land off them or the house that you're buying. If not, they must buy a land on either disc 1, 2 or 3 from retailers, essentially. So there are businesses that sell plots of land.
How much is rent?
Estate agents.
He's telling us all this, I'm guessing, yeah?
The tests he's mainly focusing on, and he's mentioned the last bit in passing.
How much is rent?
It depends, like what you want. He says if you want a small little shack, it won't cost you that much. But if you want something substantial, like a medium-sized mansion, obviously it's going to cost more.
Shack. How much is your typical shack?
It's not very big, and it's not very like showboatsmanship, which is probably what you want in a business. Probably 50 gold a month.
Okay.
But he said obviously the percentage then is negotiable as well, he says. So whatever money you earn per month through the business is negotiable with the leader as well.
Okay.
Who you're contracted
Tax
with.
is negotiable.
And the only thing that isn't negotiable is if a war is on or if they go to war, you have to give more essentially.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
You can tell who's the one with the money.
Not even a noble, that's the downside. I'm not even a noble.
So Nicky Cox goes, right, so I'm a drag queen, what do I have to do to show you that I need business? And he goes,
Suck his dick.
So you've got to lip sync for your life.
Jazz hands, do a show tune.
Nicky Cox sort of like clicks the fingers and there's like a business
Hello, my darling.
a business portfolio appears out of nowhere essentially and just hands it to him and he sort of like reads through it and goes, so you passed the first test obviously. He says the only thing that you need to do is a practical test, he says, because obviously you can't really sell what you're trying to sell without actually having the business open in the first place. But because you're talking to me and you're an old friend, and she goes, I'm not an old friend, this is the first time we're meeting.
What's his name?
Kid Rocky.
Kid Rocky.
Yeah.
I wish to open a business.
I was right, okay, so... No, that was Nicky Cox.
I live at the
Yeah. So he goes, right, okay, what are you trying to open?
Weapon sales. Armour sales.
Oh, that's down my alley. He says I love a bit of, shebang and lopping heads off. That's where I used to be from,
Yes. On the business.
Yeah, but
You were a lopped off head.
No, I used to do the lopping, love.
Ah,
Oh,
that makes more sense.
I've killed a few people, he says, and he smiles at you again.
Have you ever set fire to a bear?
I've set fire to a shark once, he says.
Impressive.
Oh, that hurts my head.
He just says, you don't ask questions. The only thing you need to know is yes.
Okay, so I wish to open up sales of weapons.
So, right, he says, You've obviously passed the interview. That's the first test. Congratulations, everyone. And he starts
But honestly, we're missing a shark wearing a bolo tie. Who was wearing the bolo tie, you ask? Me or the shark? Answer, yes.
I pull my rapier out.
He sort of like eyes it up. He's got an eye for these things. And
Obviously,
the champion.
my dexterity is doing its thing.
Yeah.
There's obviously not a training dummy in here.
Yeah.
So I hit the table.
Okay.
Stunk.
You rolled a hit.
Is this
It's table.
Yeah, but how much damage do you do with that?
is this the fully Derek
Oh
special?
no, it's just. Oh yes, it's my rapier.
It's,
oh yeah.
it's the Derek
Oh
special.
yeah, it's Derek special. You haven't seen this yet either, so yeah.
I haven't seen most of this.
Fire and lightning, respective colours, and a rapier is a d8
Yeah, dex plus your dex.
plus dex, which is plus 5.
And +2 from the
Ah.
rapier.
That is 17.
Yeah.
So the person's flame, some lightning bolts
How
shoot
much
out.
fire and lightning?
4 lightning, 3 fire.
So quite a bit.
Yeah.
We can say that the table is on fire.
So what you see? So I'll describe it to you. The sort of the rapier is usually used for poking. So the fact that he slammed it on the table is a bit odd. But once it hits the table, all of a sudden, a quarter of the table literally sets on fire, and lightning sort of like shoots out. It's quite a spectacle, and the table is quite singed, like not completely broken, but like let's just say an eighth of the table is suddenly missing. And he goes,
Apologies for the table.
"You're paying for that, though, right?"
No, that's my demonstration. I needed to do a demonstration to show that my wares worked. You needed me to do this.
He says, "Yes, but you do them in order." He says, "There's an order to these things."
Then you didn't explain that to me quite fairly.
And he turns to Nicky Cox and he just goes, "Okay, he just stares at the table blankly and just goes, "Okay, so we'll just, is this the item you're auctioning off?" He says.
This is my personal one, this. But we have several that we could potentially auction off. Where is group
He just says, "I just need an example piece," he says.
One of the daggers. I think that's. There's other scimitars on there, so.
There we go, yes, I will get...
Great axe.
I have got the group stuff on me, haven't I? I'm the one who tends to sort of keep hold of it, aren't I?
Yeah.
Just double checking, cool. I put my personal one back away,
Yeah.
not mixing up the 2 bags of holding, and I grab out another scimitar and I hand it to him. This is the one.
Okay. So he sort of holds it and sort of like swings it around and he goes, "Oh, this is really good. Who made this?" he says.
A friend.
And Derek sort of like pokes up his head. "I'm a friend! I'm a friend,"
Why
he
would you
says.
give Derek that kind of idea?
And he goes, and then he just this is the first time he's noticing the large piece of hulking armour in the corner of the room hulched over, depressed. And he goes, "What's that? Is that
It's
is it a construct?" he says.
yes.
Kind of.
Derek goes, "I'm a toe."
You're a bit bigger than a toe.
A total character?
He goes, "Yeah, I think you need to work out some bugs on that one," he says.
Sorry?
"You need to work out some bugs on that one," he says.
On him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and he says, "Oh, but this is substantial," he says. "This is probably going to sell for quite a bit," he says. "So the auction I can hold within the next half hour," he says.
Perfect.
And he says, "Then we'll do, I'll take you over to the barracks and you'll do a combat simulation," he says.
I will.
"Well, your item will.
Fantastic.
It doesn't have to be you," he says.
Good. I'll end
So
up shooting them, not hitting them.
meanwhile, back with Warwick,
Yes.
you eventually make your way to the Magic College. This area is somewhat quieter. There's obviously people coming and going,
Yeah.
but there's not as much.
Yeah.
You walk in and sort of like it's got a purple ambience about the room. So like there's like an orb floating in the air, and sort of like giving sort of like a dim light.
Oh yeah.
Think just think your generic Magic College stuff basically.
Yeah.
The walls and floors are marbled in white. So the sort of like the purple sheen is sort of like just reflecting off it. It's It's very like
Magic.
a warm
course,
atmosphere.
I've got
Yeah.
the,
So you walk
I'm
in.
on the wall.
There seems to be a couple of students talking in the corner.
Yeah.
And then in front of you, there's just a plain wooden table, and there's just somebody sort of like filing through some paper
Might be worth a try.
I'll head up there.
to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking for Maggie Smith.
I'm probably not going to use cause after my
So the person behind the desk is a man in his
Find the boy,
30s, got like shaved head.
You want to.
It looked like just recently started shaving his head because you can see like it's slightly receding.
Yeah.
So he goes. All right, okay, Nikki. Not Nikki. Maggie Smith. Right, okay. I'll take you up to our office.
I normally only cast 3.
So, after walking through the magic college, like as you walk in, you see floating candles,
Yeah.
torches around the place. You walk as you're walking past, you see 1 or 2 classrooms, and there's people trying to learn how to cast magic and stuff like that. It's the start in like first level spells and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
things like charm person and
1 second. So
your generic 101 for wizards and sorcerers, basically.
Hogwarts without Hogwarts.
Yeah, essentially. But they're all in they're all like in their late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
it does give you 1 really.
Eventually you get to the office and he opens the door, and what you see essentially is sort of like a woman in her 70s, 80s, very wrinkled, sort of like white hair, essentially Maggie Smith, if you've seen her.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yes?
I messaged ahead about Ol.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Please, come in. Don't be shy. Sit down. A cup of tea?
No, thank you, no tea.
Oh, I love a good cup of tea, she says. If you don't mind, I'll make myself while we chat.
Go for it.
So she walks over, and they're sort of like in the corner, you sort of see a table with like herbs and remedies, and randomly just a kettle in the middle of all this.
Yeah.
And she sort of like puts the kettle on, and she's just watching the kettle, and she goes, "So, all right, what do you want?"
Where's he currently?
Right, so Amy paid me to distract him for a couple of days.
Yes.
I assume you're inquiring about that.
Yes.
So, I sort of like dibble-dabbled and let's just say I made a sword that sort of like retracted into itself using an enchantment of sorts.
Okay.
Sort of like, and then the dagger turned into a sword.
Okay.
Easy to impale people that way, love.
The
She
dagger
says.
turned into a sword.
Yeah.
You've got to introduce me.
That's really lightsabers.
It's just something that I'm working on, she says. You gotta keep yourself distracted at my age, otherwise you just become brain dead, she says. Can't let this brain die.
I guess I wouldn't know as I'm not that old yet.
She sort of like ignores that comment and just continues to watch the kettle, and she goes, right. So, he was interested in this weapon.
Yes.
I kind of had an idea that he was shady anyway, so he'd obviously be interested in such a weapon that you can seal and then just pull a sword out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Don't really know much about him. Amy just told me he's shady and just to keep him distracted for a day or two.
Do you know where he is?
Funnily enough, she says, we're finalising the purchase soon, she says. I wouldn't recommend you randomly attacking him out in the open.
Oh, I wasn't planning on that.
I could arrange a meeting later, she says.
Would you be able to track him down?
That's not my business, she says. I was only told to distract him. I could tell him to go to a general location to do the final trade, she says.
How I mean by lock him down? I was more thinking using your magic to tie some loops around him and then just leaving him to me.
Oh, of course, I haven't introduced myself. Maggie Smith. I deal with enchantments. That's not my...
Transfiguration by chance?
So,
That's not my gig, she says.
anyone in this college able to do that sort of thing for me?
Not for free, she says.
Well, I wasn't going to say for free.
So you just want somebody that's very good at holding people?
Yes.
Let me have a look, she says, at the names on my list. Oh. Sorry, I apologise, she's actually a half-elf.
That's fine.
Must not.
Doesn't change my disposition.
Okay.
To.
Ooh.
I'm like the most neutral person here. I don't care about the law, don't care about good and evil, I just care that I get the job done.
So my boss is probably the best person to ask about that.
Okay.
She's a bit eccentric though.
You're able to ask on my behalf?
I could take you to her if she likes.
Well, I'm just thinking she's not going to listen to some random stranger now, is she?
Oh, fine, she says. They're formalities, of course, of course. I'm Maggie Smith, she says. She starts pouring a cup of tea for herself.
She got short-term memory loss.
She's bloody 80 for Christ's sakes.
Getting there then.
Oh, but she's a half elf. That's like half it. That's like midlife for a half elf. Let's say she's like 130 then. She sort of like opens the door and there's a student outside and she goes, "Oh, Mr. Codsworth," she says, "could you do me a favour? Run along and would you get Rolly for me?" And the student goes, "Oh, yes, miss, right away," and sort of walks off. After about a minute or two, you are greeted with a gnome. Sort of like very wild red hair, big smile on her face, green robes, pointed green hat, and she sort of walks in and goes, "Oh, what's this business with Maggie Smith? What are you doing?" And she goes, "Yes, I'm Maggie Smith."
I turn to Rolly. Is she always like this?
And she Roll goes, don't mind her. She's getting there," she says.
Okay.
Maggie goes, "I take great offence to that. I'm Maggie Smith." And Roll goes, "I just think that she just likes to. I just think. I just think she just likes to say her name over and over again." And she goes, "Right, okay. So sit down, Roll. And just meet my guest," she says. "Would you like a cup of tea, Roll?" The Roll goes, "Oh, sure, why not? Just give me your regular." And Maggie goes back to the kettle and goes, "Yes, I'm Maggie Smith." So, Roll is like, while she's talking to you, she goes, "So what can I do for you?" she says. And while she's talking to you, she's got a metal piece, metal in her hand, and she's sort of like transmutating it in her hand while she's talking to you. Sort of like she's playing with a Rubik's Cube essentially with this metal piece of metal.
I just basically explained to her that there's a deal going down with Ole, between Ole and Maggie Smith, and I just want her to be able to trap Ole in the seat and then just leave him to me.
"Oh," she says, "I can do that, no problem," she says. "I'm a bit busy, but it's quite..."
How much would it cost you?
250, she says.
I pass the 300.
Right, okay. Maggie sort of goes to the kettle and she gives her the cup and goes, "Yes, there we go." And Roll goes, "Well, I'm combat ready, you know.
I don't want him dead. I just want him
held in place."
Yes.
"I can do that, no problem," she says.
As long as he can talk still.
I'll tell you my expertise so you can use them more effectively if you prefer.
I take it you'd be able to get him tied to a chair very securely.
I can manipulate metal with my mind, she says, so that wouldn't be a problem. The main problem is not getting caught, she says.
How do you mean by getting caught?
Well, Maggie will explain it to you, and she goes, "Yes, so the trade, you know, he's very wily, so they want to do the trade out in the open, you know. Well, not in the open, of course, but, you know, with people around, so it'd be safe. He's very wily. I'm Maggie Smith."
I'm glad I'm not there.
I put a bullet in there by now. I'm Garvey Loken, bitch.
He may want to do it outside. I'm sure you've got like a way of getting him into a more discreet location. Someone being of your important stature.
She sort of thinks to herself for a moment, goes, Not really, she says. I can bind him and turn him down, but it would probably catch attention the way I would do it. I can't exactly planeswalk, she says.
Yeah.
That's fine. I can make sure that the gods don't get involved. It's quite a skilled business after all.
Oh, she says, you're part of the guild, she says.
The Fighters Guild, yes.
Oh, right, of course. I mean, I could ask one of my students to do but I wouldn't want to get one of my students involved, she says. She sort of starts thinking to herself, Maggie, can you do anything? No, I can't. As you know, I just enchantments. And Rolly sort of rolls her eyes and go, yes. Bloody perpetual immortarum or whatever the fuck you say, she says. I'm Maggie Smith.
Anyway.
So yes, what do you want to do then, she says.
Let's
gonna die.
What sort of location would you recommend?
So she says in Finrasda there's not many hiding places per se because of how tight the area is.
Of course.
So the main road is probably the best place for an ambush, but obviously it's the main road, so there's going to be a lot of people there. She says, I would recommend if we were trying to do this as quietly as possible, it would have to be outside Finrasda.
And you'd still be able to get him tied up, correct?
She says, as long as I have a metal sheet or bar with me, it should be fairly easy, she says. Whether or not he'll be able to break out of that, I don't know. I haven't met the guy. Maggie, you've met him. Yes, I have. Like I said, very wily sort. I believe he said he was a paladin or something.
And it's definitely him.
Yes, it
I
is.
read off the description of him.
It matches it, she says, to the T. Half orcs you don't see many of, she says.
Okay. Just making sure.
He kind of sounds like a sore thumb. He makes himself stand out like a sore thumb. I told him. Why are you wearing green and blues, I tell him. Not very fashionable, I say.
Where are you setting up the deal then? Where are we setting this all up?
Well, I would contact him and then we would do the deal. We haven't even set a time and place yet. I've been distracting him for 2 days.
Well, if you set up a time and a place, then we'll get around to sorting this all
So
out.
Rolly just literally says, if we set it outside Finrasda where the fields are during night, we're probably going to get less attraction there, she says. So
Okay.
we'll do it in the field, she says.
Okay.
So Maggie, can you do that for me? Yes, I'm Maggie Smith. And sort of goes back to the kettle and turns away. And Rolly goes, I think you better leave. She says.
Why?
I thought that was obvious. She says.
Shouldn't get many visitors.
Okay. I'll head out of the college. I'm gonna go check out the other guy. Miggins or Miggins, whatever his name is.
Back with the party. Going backwards and forwards. So the half an hour's gone, let's say.
Yeah.
So you're doing the auction now. I will roll to see how well the auction goes. But and then I want you to roll persuasion.
Right.
Okay.
Would performance. He's been trying to demonstrate it. Maybe.
13.
I'm more thinking the fact that he's not technically part of the auction, but he may. I'm asking him to roll it so he has control over whoever's selling the item, essentially. In a general sense. What did you say, 13?
13.
Well, I'll beat all of them, so...
Wow, friggin' hell.
The highest I had was an 11.
For merchants, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, bloody hell. Considering I rolled a 9, I got +4.
But considering how well the item is, let's just say quite a few of them are flustered.
I'll bet they are, yeah.
So,
Loads of them. We've got loads more for him to do too.
what are you naming the item though?
This is true. We probably need to actually think of a proper name for it now, don't I? Am I
I
going in with you, or am I going in on my
Are
own?
you doing Derek's special?
I want to be along just to see how this goes.
No, but the business.
I'm finishing this really quick.
Or am I literally going bollocks to the rest of you? Am I going bollocks to the rest of you? I probably would go bollocks to the rest of you, if I'm honest. My bounties are my wealth.
Well, your stock is joint owned,
This is true.
so I'd certainly get a kickback off anything you did.
This is true, so probably going... thinking about it then, yes, it would probably be we're going halves on this one. What was the overall question? What were we
Name of
naming
the name of the item.
Yeah, what are we naming it? It's
It's a scimitar.
so it's +2.
Mm-hmm.
+2 fire lightning D4. Level 1 spell slots +3, is it?
3 level 1 spell slots,
Yeah.
so level 2 spell
+3
slots.
and +1 level 2 spell slot.
Minor illusion cantrip.
Minor illusion, and that's it.
Yeah, because it's already taken the shape of
Yeah,
something else.
because we don't melt it.
Zephyr's Edge.
Zephyrs means.
Zephyr is like already connected to lightning as it is.
And it's generally associated
Oh,
with
I like
dexterity
Derek's
and
special. I do. He
quick.
says.
Yes, Derek. But if we keep naming them that, then they're going to find connection.
Oh.
Also, we can't name a scimitar Derek special and a dagger Derek special.
Precisely that. Yes.
Derek special could be the name of like a special item.
I'm not good at names on the spot. I'm going to admit to that. I'm not.
So, we're going with Zephyr's.
Zephyrs, it could be a thing. Yeah, actually.
Like I already know the name of the crossbow bolts that we make, bolts of light fire.
Nice. Yeah. Or is the overall enchantment that we do called Zephyrs?
Zephyrs or light fire, okay, kind of like the name of both.
Lightfire does kind of fit it a bit better, I think. Zephyrs is good. We'll keep that for something else. It's going to happen. More than likely.
The Zephyr is usually associated with like storms, lightning, and speed. That's basically.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. We'll definitely keep that one then.
So, is that the constitution Zephyr's or whatever?
No, the other one.
Light fire?
Lightfire.
Although I'm not even part of this deal.
No, I know, but for the terms of thinking of names, I'm just no good at it.
So there's a lot of back and forth.
Lightfire.
A lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
The merchants are flabbergasted by this item essentially.
And time to change them all on here too.
It eventually goes for about 12,000 gold.
Oh, yes, it does.
But don't forget the guild
Only
gets a
12.
percentage of that.
They do they?
Did they
The
decide
auctioneer
on
gets the commission.
Yeah.
Cheers.
15%.
Oh.
12,000, 15%, that's 1,200.
1,800.
No, because it's 12,000 goes down to 1,200, and then 5% of that, which is half of that, so that's
600.
1,800.
10,200.
Yeah.
If what I've got left.
Yeah.
And that's all yours. Like the auctioneer is run by the Merchants Guild, so essentially whatever's auctioned here, the commission is the Merchants Guild essentially. And after this auction, there's like 3 or 4 merchants in the back talking to Kid Rocky, just like, where the hell did you find this item? What is it? How was it made? Like, did you find? Is it an ancient relic? And all these other questions going around. And Kid Rocky just simply nods his head and goes, "Well, I'm not the seller, I'm afraid." He says, "Good day," and sort of just walks off.
Not my problem.
And he turns to you and goes, "Well, that went as expected," he says.
Exceedingly well. I think they could sell for more next time though.
Well, it depends if you can make a brand for yourself, I suppose.
I think we can.
I think we're set up to do this.
That was the idea anyway.
Yeah, lightning fire, yeah.
What this is
Light
we
fire.
already have.
Because lightning fire is a bit too wordy.
Yeah.
Too many syllables.
Yeah. Light fire. Nice, yeah. that's
So
good.
he says, all I really need is a demonstration, but let's just say that my table was the demonstration, he says.
Indeed.
Right, okay, you have your business, he says.
Good, thank you.
What's the name of the business?
Are you... Yeah, so so he starts doing the contract with you. So he says, first of all, he's not really interested in the business, he's interested in how much
The monies.
how much tax you're willing to give. So he starts off with like the commission 15%.
Okay. I will give you 10%.
12.
10.
12.
9.
12.
9.
12.
Let's meet in the middle at 10.
11.
Let's meet in the middle at 10.
11.
10.
11.
I'm sticking to my guns with 10.
I think it's persuasion and
Yeah,
persuasion for both of them and see who rolls higher, and then it's either 11 or 10 based off of that.
Yeah, roll
15.
19.
Bitch.
But he will be fair. And it'll go to not 15. Let's just say 12.5.
12.5%. Cool. So, what is the name of the business then? This is truth.
My
Derek Special.
My character has no idea what's going
No,
on.
you have no
at all.
clue yet. Lightfire
Isn't
Limited.
Isn't it the brand?
I thought that was like the brand of the item.
This is true. This is
Adventurer's Edge.
Adventurer's Edge work.
A genie and a weapon.
Not quite a genie in a weapon, unfortunately. I love that. I like that. Let's put a genie in a weapon because that's fucking broken. We don't need Tornado Elemental. I mean,
I'm Derek.
yes, Derek. We know. Yes, Derek. We know. Adventurer's Edge works. Adventurer's Edge.
Okay. So you worked out the percentage, worked out the name. The only thing he's going to ask is, are you buying a plot of land off him? Or a shack, or a mansion, or whatever.
How much is a shack?
Like he said, 50 gold per month.
To buy it out.
Oh, to buy out, that would be 550.
550 gold flat.
Yes.
We're already in the profit from the
You
one
just, you
sale.
just made 10,000
Month.
for 550.
He says
Okay.
at this point, he says, with the money that I know you have, he says you may as well buy a middle-sized business.
Indeed. How much is one of those outright?
Like 6,000-7,000, depending on how nice you want it to be.
We'll take a middle ground.
So 6,500.
We'll take a 6,005.
I can kick in half that cost if you want.
Technically, although he's the permit holder, all of your names would have to be on.
He
On-
doesn't.
I'm
know.
not even there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he
I'm
doesn't
not
know
there.
about
I'm
it.
not even part of this.
So you're not. You're
I've
not.
known these
You're
people
not.
for a couple of
But-
hours.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, they say it on my behalf, but
But you. But
No.
like I said, it's up to you guys at the end of the day.
I mean, again,
no.
you've helped us acquire some of these items, so I think probably,
Oh, they'll
I would
probably-
feel like you'd get a kickback to some extent.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Like, at the end of the
Essentially,
day,
I'm asking.
Roy doesn't care, I'm just saying
he's
it as a
he's
player.
holding the own. He's the owner
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
deed. But your name, he can put your names on it to have access to the third disc. Because if he doesn't write your name on, if he doesn't write your names on it, you would not be able to go up there.
Not even as an acquaintance.
No. The only people who can invite people up further are the three families.
Well, then he has to go on it, right?
Yeah.
Silent partner. No stake.
So you're saying the 4 party members and Derek, essentially.
Indeed. Yes. Yes.
And Nikki Cox has got her own now as well, so she's opening her own business.
What
Unless
shall
you
we-
want to hire her.
A drag.
No.
Is Juanita going on the hours?
No. I'll hire someone else. And pay them pittance. 2 copper. Per day.
That's
Jesus Christ! Fucking hell, at
how
least
you
mine
get
was decent.
Stuff stolen.
Yeah.
You
No,
just-
stuff
you
ain't
just-
gonna go missing. If
You
stuff goes
just need
missing,
to go
there'll be
and
heads
find-
rolling.
Why don't we just go make up another construct to work for? For nothing.
Oh, we could leave Derek here. He can do it
He could make the items, but do you think he has the right mindset to set up a business?
No.
He could make the items, but not the.
Exactly. But we need him.
He can be like.
Mm.
No,
He's a
if he
use-
comes with us, he could still be making them, and we
Exactly.
just send them on now and again via.
He's a
courier.
useful tool when we're out and about.
Yeah.
If
Like,
to
he is
hire
literally
someone
A
to
tool.
man the shop, I guess.
We can hire someone. Yes.
Like them just to man the shop.
Huh. And that gives Amy another way in.
Right.
Yes, we'll take the 6,500.
So what you get essentially is, I'm trying to think how to describe it. It's a fairly large house, should we say?
Yeah.
So it has multiple rooms. So you could have lodgings in there essentially for a couple of people, but not too many people.
One room each, essentially. I'm guessing.
The one
You're
room each,
essentially
one
saying.
room each on the top floor, and then on the
Right.
bottom floor, then you have like a medium-sized foyer, and like maybe 1 or 2 rooms for a workshop or something.
Nice.
I'll have to draw that at some point.
Well, the house plan, and then they can figure out where they
Yeah,
want
what they
stuff.
want to do. Yeah, if they want to furnish it or anything. They'll have basic furnishings, but not nothing, nothing extravagant. So they'll have chairs and
What's
tables,
the
but that's
name
about
again?
it.
Kylan.
Kylan.
K.
YLAN.
Kylan and
Warwick.
Fulbrick.
WARRICK.
So the only NPCs you have access to right now to hire are 3. Who's Derek, who's A. Smith, who's essentially free. Then you can hire Juanita and Nikki Cox.
No, we'll put an ad out.
Okay. I don't think that exists though, but you can find NPCs.
There'll be an ad board. Yeah.
Adventurers Guild board.
Yeah.
We're looking for adventures to man the shop.
Yeah, pretty much. People to man the shop. That's all. Literally, someone who can sell stuff.
Right. Okay. So I'll leave it at that. Back to Dan.
Yeah.
Where are you?
I'm heading to the Colosseum until the time and place of the meetup.
You didn't set a meetup, did you?
We did, didn't we?
Not with these guys. You're not.
No.
Oh, you mean with?
Oh.
Okay.
The old meetup.
So
For me, this job is slightly more important than whatever I'm doing at a voice. Because as far as I'm aware, I'm just here to get information. And this.
So
is
you're
information.
meeting Miggins.
Yes.
Do you remember who he is?
Colosseum owner.
Yeah. Just seeing if you know anything else other than that.
What was the VAT we agreed on? 12%.
12.5.
per hour as well.
Yeah.
Wasn't Lavish Darling? Have I spoken to Lavish Darling?
Yes, you have. She was the eccentric elf that you saw in the town just now.
Didn't she have black skin?
No, that was a different NPC. That was in Grandoza.
Because I've got some notes for Lavish having black skin for some reason. Oh, whatever. Continue.
Right, okay.
How are we going to split this money?
So you meet up with. It's kind of hard to meet Miggins because obviously he's busy.
Yeah.
Like I described, the Colosseum's split into 4, and there's always shows going on essentially.
Yeah.
So trying to get an audience with him is fairly hard. You mentioned the name, drop the name Amy, of course,
Yeah.
and eventually you're given your own private room, VIP room essentially. So think like silken pillows and stuff like that, and like shawls hanging off the ceilings and stuff like that. Yeah. So eventually he comes in. Let me describe him to you. Where is he? So, extremely eccentrically dressed elf, highborn elf.
Another elf.
Yeah. And his hair sort of like changes colour as
Okay.
continually, basically. So they is it a lava lamp that changes colours all the time? No, it's not. Basically,
I get the idea.
Yeah, you get the idea. So basically, rainbow coloured hair that changes all the colours, so it goes from purple from blue to.
Yeah.
3,700.
What can I do for you, young sir?
Any information about all that you
No, we
have?
brought that up with the
I think Maggie's doing
10,200
stuff
we
about
had
that. I have nothing to do with that, I'm afraid.
We were straight
Amy
off
has
it.
mentioned him
Why
because
buy
you
it from
are
our
looking
Yeah.
for
straight
him,
off it?
but nothing other than that, I'm afraid.
So you didn't get any information?
No,
Too
no,
bad
no,
it's
not
on-
really.
Still.
What's
Leave
the black
that
market
with the
person
shop.
here? Because I've got there's no black market
Leave that
person
with the shop.
here somewhere.
Are you asking
Out
that?
of character.
Out of character. You know there's a black market here, but other than that, you don't have any. You were given, I believe, several random names, which I didn't name, that you may have access to. So the Lavish Darling would be one of them that you'd go talk to. Miggins may know people, but he wouldn't know directly the black market. But you may know some people that would know the black market.
Do you know anything about the undermarket here? Or anyone who would know about the undermarket here?
Ah, yes, of course, of course. So, what are you looking for specific?
Information dealers. You know?
Have you,
People who get information that not anyone else can.
have you spoken to Lavish?
I have, but that was for other information. I'm looking for a bit more of a deeper connections, if you get what I mean.
I don't know anyone personally about that, I'm afraid. I only deal with the face of things, should we say.
Do you know anyone who would know of that?
Like I said, Lavish would be a good point of interest to look at. Don't really know anyone in particular, I'm afraid, other than her. She knows everything, of course.
So it'd be back to Lavish again.
Yes, I'm afraid so. But if you ever want to come see a show,
I will be round at some point. for sure.
lovely, marvellous. Have a nice day now.
Thank you, Miggins, I think. Yeah, I'm going to head over to Lavish again.
Okay. I can't remember what her voice is now. Hello! No, no, it sounds a bit too down fire. Down fire?
Downton Abbey.
Yeah, sure.
Down fire.
What can I do for you? Oh, you've returned.
I'm looking for the undermarket, so to speak.
Oh, you're looking for the underbelly.
Yeah.
Oh, you tickle the underbelly and it gets angry. Oh, I don't like them, I do. But what are you looking for specifics? I know you like your specifics, yes.
Information dealers, arms dealers, the like.
Well, for information, I am one of, if not the best people to talk to. But if you want somebody a bit more down south, should we say, Harold would be a good idea.
Harold?
Yes, Harold. Harold Piggins. The name not ring a bell? It's not the same Harold.
Yeah, that's just why I'm staring at her blankly.
Alright, how do I explain this? He kind of runs a gang, should we say.
Okay.
Kind of like they are known by the Finrasda steam militia, but they're allowed to do what they want. Let's say they help instill law and order for the underside, should we say.
Okay.
So you'd go talk to him maybe, and he'd be a point of interest. For arms dealers, or dealers that deal with magic items, if you're looking for that sort of information, most of them will be sold out in the open in the merchant guilds. There's not many items that would not be sold there. Of course, there are the exceptions like necromantic and blood magic items, which I'm assuming you are not interested in.
For the intents and purposes, if I was.
Oh dear. Right, okay, so
Not that I am, but if I was.
all I can say is Harold Piggins' best person to talk to.
Once again.
Once again, he is a point of interest. He can get you what you want.
That you cannot, basically.
Yeah, essentially, he's a mafia leader, should we say?
Oh no.
Godfather.
Yeah, Godfather.
Hey, guess what, guys? I'm getting involved with the mafia.
So she just explains the general location to you. On disc 2, I don't have a map on me. Let me just get it up on here. On disc 2 in 8D, I believe, was where the casinos and stuff are.
Yeah.
He's in that general area.
Nice.
In 8D, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Can I do anything else for you?
Might as well spend some time here. We can have a good meal, I say, as I head back towards the front.
Right, okay, she goes, of course. I do the best meals. Have you tried my smorgasbords? Meanwhile, back with the rest of the party. You are now taken to your little plot of land on this street. But now you've gone, basically, taken to the elevator. I can't remember which number elevator, it's either 4 or 5.
Cool, yeah.
It's a larger elevator.
Yeah.
So, basically this disc, like I said, is very compact. Basically think very slumlordy, but like I said, it's just functioning.
We haven't got disc 3 actually, have we?
You don't have
No, we haven't. We haven't had that
because
one
you
yet.
haven't
Yeah.
had access to
Because
it.
this is our first time going there.
So you go up through disc 2. The elevator's sort of like see-through, not 100%. Think glass essentially.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you see everything.
Is there any elevator music?
Not really. You sort of hear the pistons and cogs in the background essentially. Yeah. As you're going up the elevator, disc 2 is very like theme parky, very theme parky.
It really looks like
Yeah,
happy
it
days.
looks like a park.
Nice.
And you sort of see the Colosseum off in the distance. And then you go up to disc 3, which essentially is a big ass workshop, as you would describe it.
Fair.
So there's people in overalls, people carrying are you okay, Dan? Tissue?
I'm fine.
No tissue?
I'm fine.
Tissue?
I'm fine.
Okay, if you say so.
Hey.
You've got tools, people carrying tools.
Yeah.
You sort of see a lot of brawny people walking
It's
around.
busy.
It's very
essentially.
busy.
It's the industrial.
Yeah.
It's an industrial
Nice.
area. You're sort of like Kid Rocky's leading you because because he's highly interested in what you're going to do with the business essentially because you're working under his name essentially. He's already highly invested, should we say, considering how well the auction went.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's leading you to sort of like, after about a 5-10 minute walk, you get to an area that's sort of like a little bit more open.
Okay.
It's not as compact. And the only way I can describe it is like a small sort of like mansion or a very large house. It's a large house, small mansion sized, and it's got like a little garden in front and a fence. Think like I can just think of as examples, Mary Poppins. You know, like
I know what you
fences,
mean.
like
Yeah, I know.
Edwardian kind of feel.
Yeah. Plenty of room.
Plenty of room.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. I guess we just set up shop, put everything that needs to be down. We haven't really got anything really yet, so it's probably going to be a case of let's go and find all the equipment we need as well.
Yeah. Okay.
How do we buy all that from him then?
So Kid Rocky goes, oh, you don't. Basically what happens is I take a percentage. I don't deal with the business per se. You're basically paying percentage because you're working in Finrasda essentially.
Okay.
If you wanted to buy weapons and armors, you'd either go to the third disc, which you're on now, and buy the materials yourself, or you could go to disc 1 and there'd be some stuff down there as well.
How about shop fittings?
Like as in furnishings.
Yes.
Carpenters.
Yeah, carpenters. So you'd go to same disc 3.
I say let's figure that out, shall we? And set shop up properly.
Yeah, I think get it all fitted out so we can walk away and it can just make money in our absence.
Pretty much. And buy some locks. And a safe.
And some deterrents.
And a safe.
Right, okay.
And hire someone.
Let's go back to Dan then. What are you doing after that?
I'm
Fill us
basically
all
just
in a
going
bit on how much all
to
that is.
relax in the tavern whilst I wait for a time that would be appropriate to head out to the meetings with all.
We don't know when that is.
Meeting with all, not them. All.
No, but you don't know when that is.
I organised the meeting with all, so I could go sort that out.
No, you went to see Rowley, and Rowley said that Maggie would go contact them, and then they'll set a time and place in the field somewhere. So there's no definitive time yet.
I don't know what I'll do then. What would Rourke do?
You don't know. You're just going to sit there.
I don't know yet, so...
Carry on with the rest of the party then.
Yeah, literally going to be getting shop fittings, a safe in the form of a chest, obviously. Or if they have got a proper safe, then yes, we will get
First
a safe.
of all, roll investigation.
Who's got good investigation? I'm a +4, so...
I'm
Plus
three.
3.
15? No. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Anybody else
I'd be
helping
helping
him?
with that.
Which will she be helping?
Yeah.
So you roll with advantage.
And I'll bless him.
Oh, yes, that's bless is plus what?
4.
D4.
A D4.
Plus D4. So plus D4 to the first one. I've got 2 there, you moron. Yeah, that makes it 14. That's straight away better. There we go, by 4. So plus 8 to that, isn't it? No, it's not.
It was 14, 15,
Yeah.
and you rolled 2 or 4 more, so 19.
17,
Oh.
10, 14, 15, 16, 17.
17.
Yeah.
17.
17's the
17
highest.
investigation.
Yeah.
Then roll again for persuasion.
Plus
I'm
4.
good at persuasion.
And I will roll.
I'm very good at persuasion.
Okay.
I'm +8.
Holy crap. Hey.
But that we now have a sorcerer who's good with their
This is
charisma.
true. Yes, we have.
I don't know, like if my character would do it unless you told me to do
This
it.
is true. At this point.
I'm equally good at it, yeah.
Oh wow, are you?
No.
Oh,
If you told,
I have a
if,
-1 for
oh yeah, you do,
charisma.
yeah.
if you asked me to help, then I would do it.
Well, you can probably see me struggling maybe a little bit.
Remember
I'm
how I
still
had
blessed,
that
aren't I? So,
Charisma DC save thing
Oh, yeah.
coming?
yeah. 7. I'm guessing you can see me struggling a little bit with this one, and
I'll help you then.
Yeah. natural 20.
No, so your investigation got good materials and what you were asking.
Yeah.
But the persuasion I rolled a nat 20 as well. So I'm not going to give you a good deal. Basically, I'll give you an average deal.
Yeah, average is best.
So what are you looking for?
So first of all, shop fittings, so counters, shelves.
You said safe.
A safe, yes.
Do you want like an anvil and furnace, perhaps? Or?
Already got an anvil.
Well,
Don't-
technically, yeah. You don't really need a furnace.
We'll inquire on how much a furnace is to keep appearances up.
Shelvings.
Yeah, shelvings, and that's I think about it really. That
For
we
the
need.
general everything, like
Sign.
Yes, a sign.
for the general like items needed to run a shop, so that's
Mhm.
shelving, desks, maybe a little reception area, like I said,
Yeah.
wardrobes, cupboards,
Mm-hmm.
maybe beds.
No, people can buy them out of their own money.
Okay.
Fuck you, it's your room, buy your own.
So for general furnishes, I'll come to 750 gold.
750 on its own.
And then if you're inquiring about the safe, that'd be 250 on its own for a good one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like my water deep thing. Been properly.
And that'd be a medium-sized safe then.
Medium, is it?
Yeah, so it'd be about 3-4 foot tall.
Cool, yeah.
Gold
You
can
could hide it in
And
there if
then
you
finally
want. You could hide in it if you want.
Exactly, yes, I
a
can.
furnace. A furnace would run you about 2,500.
But I'm assuming it's the entire like forge
Yeah,
kit.
exactly that.
Not
Yeah.
just the furnace, but you know the
because we have got more than one anvil, haven't we? No, we did only bring one with us, unfortunately. Never mind. Amongst the trading, no, not yet. I'll do that later.
I'll have to do that later.
You said you wanted logs as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You said you wanted logs.
Yes. Personal item. Then I'm going to buy a padlock.
Okay, that'll run you like 2-3 gold. 2
Yeah.
2 gold.
If you get someone to arcane lock something, like, can they give you a little password to unlock it?
No, it works specifically for that person. So you can't say give him the lock and then he opens.
But you can give them say a scroll of arcane lock.
Yeah.
I don't have arcane lock anymore.
Oh, yeah.
It's a magic guild. So.
True enough, yeah.
But you can probably buy a scroll of arcane lock and then use that as
Use it every time.
Also, sort of inquiring around
Scroll one
for
piece.
someone to hire.
That'll be a different investigation.
Yeah. I was best at that one, wasn't I, unfortunately. 16 plus 4 is 20, 23.
Okay, so 23.
Yeah.
So you have, I'm just going to give you the 3 NPCs that you have access to.
Okay.
So
what exactly is your level thing that you first level?
Tish McDougal, McDougal, sorry, Tish McDougal,
Yeah.
a halfling that can be found in a tavern. She's a tinkerer, which is most knowledgeable about transport like ships, carts and automobiles. She'll work for the party if 1, they help her find her lost brother, a young gnome she adopted but has gone missing, and 2, they pay her 8 gold per week.
That's a lot of
Find half brother gnome, yeah?
Yeah.
day basis, isn't it?
8 GP a week. Okay.
Maggie Smith,
Yeah.
a half elf with a stutter. She doesn't have a stutter. Who is located in the magic college. She finds She finds that she likes magic, but finds a dislike for technology. She wishes to advance.
Big burst, yeah.
Oh wait, what? Oh no, it's not Maggie Smith. It's Mingle Smythe. I'm just reading it wrong. Why did I? Why are they so similar?
She's already got a job, Maggie Smith has.
So a shy half elf with a stutter who I kept reading he, and I was like, why am I writing he all the time? And then I rewritten him.
What was the halfling's name, sorry?
Tish McDougal.
McDoodle. Mingle Smythe was a half elf, yeah?
Yeah, shy half elf with a stutter who is located at the College of Magic. He finds the college stuff and has a dislike for technology. He wishes to advance his enchantment skills, but is often looked down on. He will work with the party. 1, gives him scrolls to study, specifically those dealing with enchantments, and 2, pay him 12 gold a week.
Okay.
Farmer Jim.
Farmer Jim.
Farmer Jim. So just Jim if you want. A young farmer with big dreams. He wants to make a name for himself but often gets into trouble for it. He is located in the fields just outside Finrasda. He knows the basics of running a business but not the logistics.
Okay.
He'll work for the party. 1, if they promise him a place to stay, and 2, pay him 6 gold a week.
You can be the front. You can be the regular logistics. You can be the person. Just a.
And no, basically, like I said, you'd only be able to get those NPCs if you meet both requirements.
Yeah.
So if you agree to help her find her known brother and pay the 8 gold a week, she's yours, basically. Same with the other guy. If you tell him that you give him any scrolls that you find.
I haven't found any yet, that's the problem. So.
But if you promise that you give him any of the scrolls specifically dealing with enchantments.
This is true, yes, yeah.
Oh, it's obviously a wizard then, isn't it? Trying to expand his repertoire.
I personally like the sound of this gym guy.
Yeah,
He's
okay.
cheap, and he knows how to run a business.
Any chance of setting up some kind of interview to see if he's some kind of bumbling idiot?
This is also a good idea. Yeah.
You can interview all 3 of them if you like.
Because we want someone who's got an
Skills.
iota of charisma.
Yeah, true enough. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, so
Speaking from
you could
experience,
put out
without any.
let's say you put out an advertisement, and within like 2 or 3 days you see these 3 people. While you're doing the advertisement and putting it out though, you notice just outside the Coliseum they've got their own advertisement out, and it's like on a big TV screen essentially. And it looks like there's a tournament going on in the next week or 2.
Shining? try and go to that, or sell them the weapons for it. Sell them the weapons for it. And yeah, that's going to be a business that we try and tap into, the Colosseum.
Yeah, I'd quite like to go to the Colosseum at some point.
Yeah,
If you ever describe this town to me.
yeah.
I kind of loosely have.
Yeah, we
You-
have, yeah.
You
Yeah,
have,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
understand that,
yeah.
but as a character,
You haven't seen
I
it?
haven't-
No, yeah, exactly.
so as soon as I hear about somebody in the Colosseum who might
Yeah.
be, you know.
Tournament going on.
Well, no, who's the proprietor of Colosseum? Who's
Uh,
the
Miggins, and Amy mentioned him in passing as one of her informants.
Then we do need to see him anyway, so.
No, well, Dan has seen him technically.
Dan has seen him.
I'm
we
assuming
have
this
not.
is happening over
But he is
a
one
handful
of-
of days.
Yes, I think now we're into
Touched.
the flow of
Yeah.
time, yeah.
My
Like,
character probably a little bit more comfortable with the company, but
Well,
I'm very happy to do jobs if asked.
yes.
So let's do one of them at a time. So Tish McDougal will do first.
Okay.
If you want me to sit in, I have a +4 insight if it makes a difference to see.
Oh, you're doing the
Yeah.
interviewing then.
Well, no, I'm not, I'll just be like I'll be the,
You can bet.
Oh, hello.
what do you call it,
Hi.
note taker.
Tish McDougal, I am.
Nice.
Fixed up automobiles, I do. From the Royal Capital, I am.
Lovely.
Yes.
What's an automobile?
It's like a cart that moves on its own.
Some kind
Oh.
of magic?
A combination of magic, could be steam power, could be fossil fuel.
What's fossil fuel?
It's something you dig out of the ground and you power stuff up with it.
I grab a bit of sulphur out of my...
So it's similar to that, she says. A bit more liquidy, she says.
Oh, sounds delicious.
No, she says. So what I do is my grandparents are outlanders and they came to this world from another plane. Don't know really the specifics because I haven't met them. Then my parents were raised here and then I was raised here. We're basically a line of tinkerers.
Okay.
That works to your advantage.
So she says, since I'm not from the plane, I had an adopted brother who was not from the plane as well, and we were helping him, a gnome. And he went missing about 2 or 3 years ago. And although they're not related by blood, she was quite close to him.
Yeah.
And so she's like, well, if you ever come across like a gnome that's wry and sassy, that's probably my bro. So if you bring him back home.
Have I found my secret sister?
She's a halfling.
I'm a gnome.
Yeah, but...
You don't come across as sassy though.
No, this is true.
So she says, yeah, I 8 gold a week. I'll fix stuff up for you if they come here. I can make general tinkerers things, she says. Like I can
And we
fix.
just have to promise you that we will keep an eye out for your adopted brother.
And the 8 gold, of course, need to make a living.
Yeah, no, that seems fair. Yeah.
I don't do much talking in this bit.
I think on to the next one.
Yeah, Mingle Smythe.
Thank you very much. We'll let you know in due course.
Mingle Smythe.
Just let me know if you want me to
hello.
look someone over.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you. Thank you for seeing me.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, what can you bring?
Well, myself, I suppose.
Jesus.
I do enchantment work at the college. They don't much like me though.
So what kind of experience do you have enchanting? What can you enchant on? Weapons and armour?
Just your general enchantments, like your +1s and just minor things, I suppose.
What other minor things rather than +1s?
He sort of like starts getting nervous, and he's just like, basically, you can do minor logistics. So maybe you can change the appearance of it or the colour, or add +1 to it. Nothing spectacular.
Personalisation is a big market these days.
He says, yes, I'm very good at drawing. And I'm really into. I like scrolls, so I can do scroll work.
Okay.
I do the typical interviewer, disappointed, sit back, I'm not interested in this guy.
And how much are you asking per week?
So as long as you give me scrolls to study and 8 gold a week.
8.
No, 12. Sorry, 12. Sorry, that was Tish out of character.
Okay. Again, I think we want an insight check.
Yes.
I'll look him over. Oh, it's a 12.
All I'll say
Well.
is the guy just looks really nervous, but you can tell, you feel like a kindred spirit, like he's out of sorts here, and like he just wants to make a living for himself essentially.
He's like me.
Yeah, like you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I say to you guys.
On to Farmer Jim, I guess.
All right, a Farmer Jim life.
This is what I'm worried about.
From the fields I am.
Okay. What can you bring?
All right, so here's the deal. Like my father used to run the local farm down in the south, like just beyond Gatewood back in the day, and we used to run the business. You know, I used to help a little bit with the paperwork, so I know the basics, like, but nothing too advanced and hardy, like. But I have a good arm. I've got quite a bit of common sense. I can do a little bit of blagging and talking here and there, but I will admit I'm not a very good liar.
That's not good for me.
But the fact that he admitted it, he's on the level essentially. But you can do an insight check if you like.
Yeah, we might
Yeah, go
have
on.
the insight check. It's costing us nothing.
Yeah, this is true.
He's lying his
Nine.
flipping face off. He's actually he's very good at lying.
19.
He's actually not 100% on the level, as in you get the feeling that he's playing himself down and he's not as much as an idiot as he's making it out for.
Sorry, it wasn't far wrong with him.
He's playing it on. I know.
Garville, he's playing dumb, so to speak.
He's playing on it, I see. How much have you dealt with in the past, money-wise? What's the biggest deal you've ever secured?
So I didn't do any of the deals, like, but my dad, like, he taught me the ropes, like, so I could buy and sell and trade, and not any big deals per se, but we used to sell a lot of bulk stuff, like leathers and beef and milk and cheese. Oh, cheese is really popular.
Yes, we know that.
Yeah.
We're aware of that.
Yeah, that's just basically the lowdown, really.
How to find out what he can do better than that.
How much is he working for?
Yeah, what are you currently working for? Who are you working for?
So I work on the fields outside
How
Finrasda.
much do you get?
So I'm currently working 5 gold, but I am asking for 6. No negotiation there. There's no point in me leaving for a little lower pay or same pay.
I agree with that.
This fella has
He has
no
experience.
strings, so to speak, and
Doesn't.
he's playing the fool.
The only other clause is that you promise him a place. You promise him a place to stay.
Place to stay, you ask?
Yeah.
How many rooms have we got? We've got one each. Have we got one spare?
You could in theory give him a shared room.
A broom closet?
I ain't sharing my room.
No, what I mean is you'd have a 5th room and your employees could stay there.
Oh, so yes, we have got one room each.
Yeah.
And essentially then, yes, so there is a spare room. Yes, then we can do that. He's got to buy his own bed, I tell him.
So is the 6 gold a part of the rent or no?
No, we'll take half pay on rent.
So you give me 3 gold in hand and then I stay here, yeah, like?
That sounds good to me. I mean, we've still got other interviews to do.
Of course, he
But-
says. Is that everything?
So yes, you'd be happy with 3 gold in hand and buying your own bed and furnishings and stuff.
Sure, he says.
I think he meant it. I got a feeling. No, you've said that as well.
Farmers always are.
They are, yeah. It's not a poor man's
One
job.
of the nicest houses.
Oh yeah.
Same with builders.
Let's put it this way: 1 gold a week would give you a tidy living.
Yeah,
for your average person.
yeah. So we are minting him at the same time, pretty much.
So three gold a month would give him comfortable
You're
stay.
right.
No.
That's why I'm putting locks on everything.
We need someone to stay in the house.
You have to give them
Yeah, I
the safe code because they can't run the business otherwise.
Well, they can't.
And you could leave Derek there.
We could, but he's plot. I like bringing him with us.
Well, how are you going to make money when you're not there?
That's
Well, we leave a depository of weapons.
yes,
Yeah.
we
To-
leave
for them
what
to
we
sell.
we leave what we
They're
grabbed this
fairly
time.
high-end items. I don't expect them to all sell immediately.
Oh no, I expect business to be slow in the beginning, especially yes. And as word spreads, well, we'll just start buying from other places and doing our thing, or buying the raw materials.
Let's just say, for the sake of transparency, that you meet this guy in about a week's time, okay?
Okay.
In game time.
Yeah.
So it's been 2 or 3 days. I'll say eventually you meet up with these guys, so you're part of this conversation going
Yes.
on, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we fill you in on everything.
Yeah.
Oh yay, business.
Yeah, yeah.
Thing.
How much is a bed
Buy your
again?
own stuff.
Walkie talkies, get up
How
to
much is a bed?
distillery.
A bed.
Yes.
Are you buying your own bed?
Yes, because I need a bed.
500 silver.
500 silver, there we go. Which is 50 gold.
No.
500 silver is 50 gold.
No, I mean, it wouldn't be that much, would it? 50 gold for a bed.
That'd be
Well, at 500 silver,
post
yes it is.
That would be an
Yeah,
ensuite
really.
bed, basically, with secret count.
I want a bed.
It'd be a gold.
A gold?
A gold for a good bed.
How much to decorate my entire room just how I want it?
How well do you want it decorated?
Oh, I want just beautiful silk drapes.
We're going full
Um,
Skyrim on this now.
Oh
aren't we?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay then, I want a bed and just a decent set of wardrobe and that's it. That's all I literally want, is a bed and a wardrobe.
5 gold
5 gold.
for everything. Because I'm guessing you would just want basic
I'm just
stuff.
gonna buy a
Yeah.
bed.
Like I just want a basic room.
So you just want a bed?
I don't really
One
do the
day.
whole
I've been
traditional
camping
sleep in a
my
bed
whole life.
thing, do I?
I've always
So
bought a
mine's
bed.
going to be like a meditation space.
Incense sticks and stuff then.
Yeah.
Incense
Yeah.
sticks and nice
Your
food on the
room,
floor
your
for you.
room is going to be extravagant, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know the beautiful sand things where it's
She's
got
got
the
some
intricate
drift globes
patterns.
for
Yeah,
lighting.
feng shui and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
That
And you've
kind
got
of
drift
thing.
globes for lighting instead of candles
Oh,
and
God.
torches.
How much?
How much have you got?
550 gold.
Yeah, bang it.
Jesus.
Your room's more
And your room,
charismatic than
um,
you are.
Yeah.
As a thing,
Have you not seen her pimping those?
as a thing, the business at the moment we still haven't paid for all that yet. I'm saying because we're doing the hiring first and sort of going.
Yeah.
Here's all the money.
It
Do
would
it.
take
You-
time to
you
do
pay-
the fitting and
Exactly,
everything
You
yeah.
pay rent once a month as well. Did
Yeah.
we discuss rent?
I don't think we did.
So didn't we buy it
No,
outright?
we bought-
No,
Oh,
we
you
bought
are
it
right,
outright,
yeah,
so
yes,
it
so
is
yours.
our thing.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
been mortgaged.
it has. Well, not even mortgage. We've
No.
literally
Okay.
Had the
bought
money
it.
up front.
Sold
Yeah.
that rapier.
Because
just
the
like-
rapier we were straight profits for. He said how much?
Scimitar.
Scimitar, yeah.
10,500?
Yeah, we had 10,005 left. Buy it for 6,005.
So you got 4,000 left.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Done. So yes, essentially the business will be going into minuses when we pay for all this, which means we probably talk to the people that we are getting things off to go IOUs until we start selling things. Is that correct?
I'm just using my own livings here for my bedroom.
For your bedroom, that's your own problem. Oh god, yeah, that's your own
So you're talking about
Like,
furnishings.
for the business
My
side
room
of
is literally
things.
just a
Yeah.
Because we'll pay for as much as we can with the 3,700 we've got left.
Yeah.
Actually, we might be able to do it. 2,005.
with our expenses is like you're not going to run out of money for weeks.
Yeah, exactly. So let me just total this up.
What would be the legal logistics of putting up like a little advertisement inside the shop saying that I can do odd jobs for people?
Oh, there we go. No, we don't. We won't even
You
go into
control the
IOUs.
business. Technically, he's the owner of the
I am
business.
Yeah.
the overall.
So you-
But would it have to go through the merchants guild, for example?
No, he owns it, so it would have to go through Garfield, basically.
Okay, yeah.
While this is going on,
Yeah.
could I just try and just wander around the city and try to just get used to the atmosphere? I don't know if you want me to roll any checks.
Yeah,
So, like,
roll investigation.
There we go.
I'm
I'll-
I'm basically sightseeing
Deduct the
and
money
I'm
from
trying
it
to
straight
feel
away.
comfortable where I am.
Basically just a basic advertisement saying that I can do jobs. So people, I'll do it on
13.
an interview basis and say, and I'll decide if I take the job or not. Basically,
Yeah,
It's
that makes
very
sense.
loud everywhere, should I say? And
you'll get
everyone's coming and
percentage, of
going.
course.
So finding a place to yourself that
Also,
you can be natural
you
is
know,
quite difficult.
the
You
claw
do
swords
eventually
I've
come
got.
across like a
And
small
a towel shield I've
fielded
got.
area on the third disc.
Oh yes.
It's like a small like park,
Sell
should
them
we
one.
say.
You get.
So you eventually just sit
percentage
down
again
underneath the
of
tree and you
profits.
can just relax.
So, you know,
and
you're
calm
selling
I
down.
them
probably do it
shop.
more in the dark
Yeah.
in the day.
You get a 15% profit.
I've got bitching wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
you get 15% of the
Bitch, no.
sales from the claw swords and shields, and
How
also
often you use the bitch?
I'll say 20% cut for advertising like
Never
services.
again, but that's 550 gold well spent.
So anything other than the room and stuff, and you've sorted everything, and you're doing your side quest.
I've just done some logistics
so
of
your
money.
side quest. Is there anything else you guys want to do? You said you wanted to go to the Colosseum some point.
I do
Oh yes, what's this tournament? Like, Wilk would be slightly interested.
Probably first we'll need to decide on who we're hiring because we probably want to start selling some of the things.
That's your side of things. I
This is
see myself
true,
as another employee of you.
To
that's-
agree. Yeah.
I kind of like the first one.
I kind
Tish.
of like farmer.
Yeah.
You could hire all three of them if you wanted. I mean, how much?
Or the first one and the farmer. Want to do some tinkering works just to keep the shop looking busy. Like you could hand us some stuff and say, do something with this.
Technically, the Tinker can't do anything with the weapons because they're magic weapons. The second one could do something with the magic weapons, although it be in minor.
Yeah, no, but the tinker may be able to make stuff. Like we could say, here's your allowance for the month. Get some materials, make stuff for us, and sell it on.
Yeah,
And then we have the farmer sell everything.
we have to invest in her ability.
Yes.
Are you wanting the first and the last?
Because we've got a forge in there, we might as well make use of the forge because we don't need the forge
This is
ourselves.
true. Yeah. Yeah.
I like how I'm not part of the business, but I'm still saying stuff. No, because I'm technically putting my advert in your shop, saying like,
We've
come
got
in, I
200,
will
we've
take
got
and do
200 in
anything
the
and
safe
put
at the
jobs
moment
for you.
because I've just paid for everything that we just bought.
It's basically an easy way of me doing my fighter skill stuff without having to visit fighter skill boards.
And are we saying that the stock of magical weapons that we have in the joint one is going to be into the shop as
Is now
stock?
into the shop. Yes. Yeah.
I've also added some extra stuff.
How many items do you have?
Fucking loads.
Oh.
You have no idea.
Oh, we got 15 tapestries we can put up as well. Oh, they're going to look sexy as fuck.
Beautiful
Yeah, they are.
ancient tapestries,
Yeah.
pre-war tapestries.
Yeah. Oh,
Stu,
man.
how much are the
These are
claw
all
squid
light fire
swords
for the
and
fire.
the tower shield
They're all
worth?
light fire. Very.
They're not all like fire.
roll
Not yet.
persuasion.
No, they are.
No,
A good
No,
persuasion,
some of them
well,
are.
I'm persuaded.
You're
Some
trying
of
to
them
sell
are.
it.
How
No, I
many
want to know
daggers
how
do we
much
have?
of them were from
194
20 evaluate
daggers.
them.
Like
Derek
that.
paid
Yeah.
194.
No. We bought 200 and we've thrown a few away because we have 100, 200.
70.
So with basic
Fuck it.
damage.
Basic daggers,
They
just
were-
bog
Each-
standard daggers
each
that
of the
are Derek
swords are
specials,
worth
which are
probably
fire light,
1,500.
light fire.
Oh no, actually,
24 scimitars, 19 short bows,
let's say
4 great
13,000
axes,
for
6
each.
long swords, 2 shields.
These do have
Two
the
chainmails.
Were
Dex
you working
special
at a
ones.
sweatshop?
So 13,000 each.
No, man.
13,000 each. Yeah.
2 more
It was
scimitars,
several nights
And then the
work
tower
for that.
shield would be
1 horse great sword,
Still 7 nights for all that. That sounds pretty good.
and we haven't got to
Once
these
again, with the
yet.
Dex special with the +2 bonus of AC
And we haven't got to
and
these
the
yet.
claws
We've got
have
2
the
plus 1
plus
longswords.
additional
Yeah.
1 different.
2 plus 1 shields,
Okay.
2 plus 1 rifles, so we've already got a rifle actually. Steam militia plate armor, which we can probably iron out the steel militia part. 1 great axe and some minotaur horns. We can put them on the wall.
I
They
still
look
have some
fucking
Minotaur
epic.
blood for you
Huh?
as well. I've got a vial of Minotaur blood in my bag as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah, you haven't actually seen Sniffles yet. No, it's not Sniffles, it's Cucumber yet.
No, we haven't.
Who's cucumber?
Oh.
Exactly.
Take off my bracelet, turns into a rabbit.
Oh.
Do-
Right. Okay.
Cucumber's my familiar, and then
Do
Cucumber
I
goes back.
leave that bowl I got in the middle of my Zen garden?
Oh fuck! What bowl did you get again?
Don't you remember?
Oh,
The
Well,
altar
you
that I got
Oh,
Cucumber from,
Fuck! We got that as well, didn't
and
we?
Trum's sword came from.
Oh good God! We could have so much fucking fun with
But yeah,
Well, it's
Garfield.
set beautifully in the middle of my
Garfield.
Zen
that.
garden.
Oh God!
don't
So
accept
if
anything
anybody
less than
believes in it, they're kind of
13,000
fucked.
for each of these great swords.
Oh, they might not be fucked. It depends. what
You
they
keep a
are.
note of that. and we'll sell.
No, I'm just doing it for
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I feel like I got
and
a
shield
deal
is worth
out.
at least 6,000.
My luck
At
is
least.
not with me.
I say it's worth 7.
So you hire
I don't know this from
I-
investigation checks.
I
I
may
say
want a
it's worth
shield in
7.
the future.
That's what I'm saying. It's worth at least.
for your
Like
expert.
So,
as a warcaster,
the
I
great
don't have a
swords.
shield.
Mhm.
But by then,
I like 5 swords,
Find
but
a
with an
basic
additional
one you
D4
like the
chaotic
look
damage.
of.
Oh wow, you
Then
need to
give it
make sure you remember them.
Yeah.
Um,
And they look like claws, giant claws.
nice. Okay.
And
so
then
you're
the
hiring Tish
Shield
and
is a
Jen.
giant shield,
We having the two?
but has a +2 versus monstrous as well as the light fire
And-
enchantments.
And remember, if we have the two, we can ask each of them separately to
Yes,
keep
we
an eye on
can.
the other one
Yeah.
because we're a little bit
Yeah.
unsure.
Do you
So
want me to do insight on these guys? I've got
already
+8.
already
Oh,
done.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can I do my
True.
own?
You can, yeah,
We
this is
didn't
also
on the
true.
first one.
Didn't on the first one. This is true. Yeah.
I will do
She's the
it
one I
on
like
top of
most.
So yes, in that case, if I
22
those two,
It's
and
gonna cost us.
so Trish is 8 gold per week
22
she
on
wants,
Trish,
but we're giving her a
23
room
on
as
Farmer
well.
Jim.
They're not on the main.
We're gonna get
main
off of the
side.
room to her.
We
We're
could
not
technically
thinking of employing.
hire the second
Tish
one
was
to
on the level, very
contract
straightforward.
the-
And I
Potentially,
said
yeah.
Farmer Jim.
We'll say
seemed
we'll
like
come
he
to
was
you
putting
for
on a slight
contracting.
act.
You just give this weapon.
Do you wanna know
use
why?
it, We'll give
Yeah.
you a fee.
That much of an insight?
That's an idea, yeah. Okay, so Trish or Tish.
Yeah, Tish.
We're looking
She's
to
on the
hire
level.
you. She's what?
She's on the level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're fairly interested in yourself. Are you looking for lodgings as well? We have a room that you could.
Oh joy! How much would that cost me?
Well, you're asking what was it? 8 gold per week, right?
Yeah, it would be 3 like Jim.
How does he know that?
She's talked to Jim, but you.
How have they talk to each other?
Yeah.
Bitch.
We should have kept them separated.
We did keep them separated.
Not when you
Interview
into
them.
the second one.
True. Yes. Never mind. Well, 8. She fucking knows as well. What a bitch. I can't fucking
Like.
take it down. It would start at 3. Let's put it at that.
Alright, okay, she says, I'll take it, she says. So 5 gold in hand, 3 gold for the room. Good.
Indeed. Yes.
So Tish and Jim will be sharing the 5th room.
Indeed. They will.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Employees.
And that's monthly. Oh no, weekly, sorry. Weekly.
I think so long as we sell one of these magic items that we have,
Yeah,
the
okay.
business is going to tick over.
Yeah.
Fine.
So do you have a pencil? And we're just going to rub out.
Google.
I'm just going to rub out mingle because you'll never have it, will you?
We might. We'll have a word with him saying we might contract to him.
Oh, never mind. I won't.
Yeah,
So,
it
making
depends
your
on
life
other
hell,
things.
we
So
might
You
contract
find
to
a
him.
scroll. Like,
Yes.
Give you this.
We know someone who might want that.
Do some work
Yeah.
for us.
Like a sideline job, basically. Like I am basically in this business.
So next, then you want to do the Colosseum at some point.
Like I would also be interested in the Colosseum seeing as I've got a week's worth of downtime.
Yeah.
Before
think
I need to
I'd
actually-
like to go there just to speak to the other touch of.
Would you go
level.
to the quest board?
No, what's going? Because at the moment I'm concentrating fully on
Okay.
this is
Perhaps
job as a
something
first.
else I'd be interested in is signing up to the Fighters Guild, so as I can.
Adventurers.
You
Is it
would-
Adventurers Guild or
Adventurers,
Fighters Guild?
Adventurers Guild.
There we go.
So you would get the bronze tag,
Yeah,
basically. so
that's
you get the
that's
staff
fine, but it's just getting foot in door
Yeah.
and being able to see the missions.
Yeah.
And what's going on with this tournament? Because there's a tournament at the
Yeah, well,
Colosseum.
if you all go to the Colosseum together, I can do that. then.
What was our so-called job for coming here from Amy?
To find information about the rifts, what happened 250 years ago at the war, or anything related to the gods.
But we needed to get onto tier 3 for
So
Nikki to establish connections with
Basically
tier 4.
Setting shop to send out feelers.
Essentially, but we're also setting up here because of the fact that Nikki Cox also needs to set up here, and she's trying to get in connection with someone on tier 4, which we can't get onto. So
Basically, tier
You
4.
said that's invite only from the family.
Yeah, invite only. So basically, if your business becomes so big,
Yeah.
basically, do you know like how the Queen's got her own like royal stamp of approval on certain items? Essentially, disc 4 is for that.
And that's about 100 metres from my house is a Corey factory, which
There we go.
is obviously sanctioned by
There we are.
His
Yes.
Royal Highness
Her
Prince,
Royal
Prince
Highness.
Charles.
Oh, his
Yeah,
Charles.
he's come to he's actually come to it.
Oh, shiny, very nice.
Yeah.
No,
They
that's
make
very
socks.
good. Right? Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, you basically want the business to be sanctioned, so you get access to Disc
Yeah.
4 then.
So
Don't
this is
think
why
it'll take
we've
long
basically
for
got
us to
time to
get
kill
that.
here, which
Well,
is why I'm
yeah,
doing
wait.
side quest stuff now,
Mhm.
because we've got time to kill whilst we
Mhm.
wait, basically.
Yeah, we've got time to kill.
I would not.
timing.
My character would not have an agenda here because it makes no sense. So I would just do what the party would do.
This makes sense, yeah. It's probably going to be a let's try and sell some things first, get a bit of a name for
Tom.
ourselves.
852.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I
try,
was just curious as to what
yeah,
you're
is
doing.
that it?
fine.
Okay, tidy.
Um,
Try and get a bit of a name for ourselves first. Halfway through the week that we've got, maybe go to the Colosseum.
I'm wanting to know when this tournament is, because there was
Ah.
advertised.
I'm going to stay at the shop then.
I would also like to try and find a Temple of Tron, just to get more information. To learn more about it, because
Temples
I
are
don't
on
know
the
much.
4th level.
4th level again. I
So basically, they're not. It's a special occurrence that once a week. Basically, they in church on Sunday.
Hmm.
So they invite a handful of people, dedicated worshippers, up to the temple.
How would I become? Well, how would I find out more about Tron in the city?
You would go to the front desk right at the beginning where you got the visa,
Yeah.
and then just say you're a worshipper, and she would give you a stamp on your visa to specifically allow you to go on Sundays to the chapel.
What day is the day of Ol?
Ol.
Yeah, the day that I'm meeting
Ol. So like I said, a week's time. So
Yes, the day of Ol, the most holy day of the year.
I need to write things down, because I haven't even thought about days and calendars by then.
There is a calendar maker that one of the other groups has got. I will find
I'm assuming there's no way for me to learn how to enchant. That's more of a wizard thing, isn't it, than a sorcerer thing? That comes from teaching,
wizards-
teaching and studies.
Yeah,
rather
wizards know how to do scrolls, I believe. Or maybe it's...
Okay, so
you
scribing
can skill learn.
Okay, so scribing a scroll, it dependent on the spell level, would determine how long it would take you to scribe the scroll and how much it costs to make
than
it.
I have to be trained in arcana to even work.
No.
Just have the
You
right
just
materials.
need to know what the spell is, and you can make a scroll of it. It's basically the way that you learnt it.
So the
It's
mental equations that wizards have to make their spells is already innately in my brain.
Yes, you're just basically writing it down and
For
doing
any shared spells.
any forward costs of it at that time. Does that make sense?
Would you be interested in side quests?
Yes.
So
And
I'll give you those.
Also, I think
as for enchanting
knowing what
weapons and
Ty
such,
is like,
it's a whole
I think
different
it's something-
process.
That's
Xanathar's
what I was
Guide
trained
has actually a
in.
really good description on how everything works for crafting, because they expanded on
Yeah,
crafting.
Kylan would have
Kylan.
been dragged to the ritual basin and
Oh dear. I
Oh,
gotta do something for divine blood then, okay.
oh yeah. Oh fuck. Oh fuck, it's blessed blood.
What am I being dragged to?
So you're in her room currently.
So, no. What are we
I
doing?
think you might have pulled us in as well for this one.
So-
yeah, I think
Probably.
Let's do things in order first.
Oh shit.
So we'll do your...
don't worry, I'll be fine.
So you get your...
nothing bad will happen.
You get your tag. You get your tag and side quests. You two want to go to the Colosseum to find out more about the tournament. And you two will do some role play around the basin. So we'll do it in
no idea what this place is.
Yeah.
I'm staying in the shop, sort of
It's how I got cucumber.
stand to sell things. I guess.
roll
It's why I
persuasion.
kept not a baby.
With advantage because Jim.
It would just be curiosity.
Yeah, Jim would
Yeah,
have
from
it.
Ty.
Jim, I'm guessing blessed has finished. Yeah, that's what
What's
it
in the
has.
subtitle?
Oh fucking hell! A 3 and a 5. A 5 gives me
it's,
9.
It's a ritual basis.
You sell one of the daggers, but it's a cheap dagger, so it's 9,000 gold.
9,000 for a
Yeah.
dagger. I'm okay with this. Do you want me to write these things down on the back of things for future reference?
Just as long as you're writing the number total and scratching up the daggers that you're selling.
Okay.
Just keeping, basically you're keeping inventory, basically.
Yes, yeah. There we are then. Okay. I need
We're doing the keep inventory, he's doing the mechanical side of
There we go.
things.
So, side quests.
Yeah.
So these are what's available. I could technically also have a look if Ty's having a look at the same time as well.
So,
Unless anyone approaches me with a job.
Side quests would put my character too much in the open, so I wouldn't do that.
okay.
Unless someone approaches me with a job because there's the advert
Just
in the shop.
adventurous.
That's why I have to get this out.
Well, yeah.
No, in our shop.
It makes
This
sense.
isn't in the
Yeah, my
advert.
character's
So
putting
I've got an advert saying no,
just
you
sold
take
a dagger
this on
for
an
9K.
interview basis.
For 9k.
So, So questing for the right coin. The merchant guild is looking for a lost merchant. He was meant to be here with a shipment of metal from the north, so from where the dwarven territory. It's part of the treaty with the dwarves. If it's gone missing, it will cause political strain. He is a half-dwarf named Riddle Tinder.
Like a magic.
They have a general idea of the roads he would travel. He would have travelled the main road northward for 2 days or so, but eventually gone off the beaten path for a further 3 days before getting to the meeting point. So, that's one quest. Oh god. A rift has recently opened out just outside Finrasda, dropping a number of fire giants.
Giants, you say?
Fire giants.
Fucking fantastic. I'll climb the bastard and nail him with my gun.
They were polite, if a little confused.
Oh, no, I won't.
They were polite but a little confused at first, and even started living with the locals.
Oh, never mind then.
But after a few days, soon started to try and claim the area as their own territory.
This is bronze level.
It's fine.
No, you're both looking at them, aren't you?
Yeah, but one's bronze level, which one's silver?
So the first one is bronze. This one's silver.
Okay.
This one is bronze.
Pretty sure we get popped.
Begins of
Absolute
wonders,
pump.
touch of halal, an elf with gold skills with eccentric personality and fashion sense is looking for adventures to deal with 2 issues for him. He's looking for new talent for his show, but so far he's only had the obvious people so far. He's looking for something more exotic. And 2, he's looking for someone to deal with a satyr who is annoying him and is a competitor. He recently appeared out of nowhere in a tent, which apparently is full of wonder.
Is that who I think it is? Ooh, I'm interested in that. Just as a character, not as a
That's
player.
copper.
As a player, not as a character, though. McGinn, so you know, is the halal-touched Colosseum owner.
So, Lost Dryads. To the south, past Finrasda Fields, and just past the main road, there's a large forested area. It's been left untouched, and some believe it's in old resting grounds. There have been reports of trees recently moving, being in one place and being somewhere else the next. Finrasda was thinking about starting a logging company there, however the situation has prevented any progress. And I think that is everything except for one of them, which you don't get access to just yet.
So they're all bronze except for the Giants one, which is silver. Okay, yeah. Rorik wouldn't personally take any of these.
Oh, okay.
I think.
But they're the ones of note.
Yeah.
And then obviously on top of all of those are the one noteworthy quests. There's some bronze quests for like bodyguards work, merchantry stuff, travel for to and from places. And then there's 1 or 2 silver ones about extermination. So that's things like
Cool.
orcs, goblins, fae. There's 1 or 2 for demons, and there's 1 for a green dragon.
Green dragon.
But these are silver, so you personally wouldn't be able to
No,
make them
you
up.
But
no.
with,
I
with
could
the bronze
if
one that is about
I
the
really
dwarven
wanted
metal,
to.
I think my ears would have pricked up because that could lead into the business if we can,
2 birds, 1 stone.
satisfy everybody and satisfy no one except ourselves.
So those are all your side quests.
Yeah, Ty, if you ever want to do a silver one, just ask me. I reckon we could pick it up for you, basically, on your behalf.
Oh.
And do it with you.
Well, eventually, once she's done a number of bronze ones, she can apply for silver.
Yeah,
too.
no, but I can always help her with the bronze
Or
ones,
she can go
hopefully.
black like
The silver ones. Yeah, like me.
Help her up Jill's chain.
I can't personally help out the chain, but I can assist her with higher
Oh, yeah,
work
I mean,
so that
that's
she
how
can
I
get
mean.
credit for it, basically.
You can go with her on a bronze and just speedrun her through, essentially. Like you do with friends on a big MMORPG.
Well, no, it's more the fact
Speedrun.
that... No, it's like how I had you two helping me.
Okay, right.
I'm helping
I see,
her.
Sure. Right. There we go then, yeah.
So there's a tournament going around.
Yeah.
Like once a day, there seems to be like a show spectacle advertising it, so it looks like a very big tournament. You find out that it's one of the 2 big tournaments they do a year. So they
Okay.
do one for Halal,
Yeah.
who's the most competitive god.
Yeah, it is.
and they do one for the three families.
Okay.
And this one is for the
There's a forge one.
Halal is death.
no, halal is chaos.
Chaos.
Chaos
Joe
and
Garland.
entertainment.
Death. Yeah. What was Moradin, sorry?
And invention.
Inventions
Yeah.
and stuff, which is
Yeah.
why I'm Moradin.
Yeah. So the one that's done in halal is closer to Christmas for odd reasons. And the one that you're talking about is more June, July, so a summertime thing. So it's like the middle summer celebration essentially. So basically it's a celebration of the three families and the lore and the history of Finrasda. Basically the tournament is more for the money. So this one's more about money, while the one for Christmas for Halal is more about glory and seeking truth and stuff like that, and getting blessings of the gods and stuff like that. So it's more divine centric, while this one's a bit more money driven.
It's a paying job.
Yeah.
Rourke would probably want to enter, depending on when it was.
So
Well,
entry for this one is about 50 gold per entrant.
50.
50 by 0.
5-0. Oh, that's cute.
Round 1, depending on how many combatants there are, you would be entered into a big arena with random animals, and basically the top 8 or 16, depending on how many they are, basically the ones that don't die, or
Is it any weapon goes?
any weapon goes, but there's a limit on weapons.
Ooh.
What's
So
the
there's a ban list.
Yeah,
What's the ban list?
there isn't a ban list per se,
There's
but you're only allowed 2 weapons at a time.
2 weapons at a time.
Yeah.
Done deal.
That's fine. I can just put one of my guns over there.
Do
and it
fists
can be
count as
called
weapons?
to me.
No,
Yeah.
Good.
fists do not count as weapons.
Yeah, that would be right. Yes, in my thinking, I could just put my rifle over.
One set of armor as well.
Oh no!
I don't wear armour.
Yeah,
Who needs armor?
and you're only allowed 1 magic item.
I don't use magic items. Well, I do, but I don't.
Don't look at me like that.
Potions are not legal.
Yeah, I thought they would.
Yeah. So basically, like I said, you get to the top 8 of 16, and then it's like 1v1, and then you go up the bracket basically. Top 4. The top 4 will have 5,000 gold each. Second place would get 10,000 gold. And first place would have an unmeasurable sum of money, which isn't disclosed.
You're entering that. There's no way you can avoid entering that.
As well as a magic item of choice. As well as, for the first time and exclusively only for this tournament, an old and ancient tome. Without disclosed information.
Yeah, I think Rourke could
That's
enter
a big
this
one,
just
though.
just because of the fame aspect of
Times
it.
to like
Like,
permanent
if someone could-
stats or something.
It would get out his name as you could hire this guy. This guy who potentially owns
I
someone.
don't
God.
think Ty would enter.
Rourke would.
Garvey probably would too. And we'd have a
So it's
silent
not group
agreement.
combat,
See
it's
you in
one-
the
It's-
finals.
It's the first
That's if we
first round.
paired up sooner.
whoever the top
You do,
16 or 8,
yes.
depending on how many there are,
If you pair
will
up
survive, go to the
bollocks.
next round. And then after that
See you
round,
in
then
hell.
it's
Good luck to you. Is a Rourke would say.
Also to note as well, they've also said that they do have a special sort of machine that recharges spell slots. So each round you can
Go in fully.
go
equipped.
fully prepared.
Nice. So it counts as a long rest machine essentially.
Yeah, so you get fully healed.
I won't
All
get
of-
sorcery points back if I do that.
Huh, can
Question.
that,
Probably
can
will.
that be
Okay.
a magic item of
I
choice?
think it counts as long.
No.
rest
Okay then.
From the sound
So
of it.
with the magic item, does that mean enchantments other than a +1 +2?
No, the one count as your weapon. So 2 weapons
Yes.
of any discerning value.
So the weapons themselves could be magical,
Yes.
and that doesn't count towards your magic item.
No.
Okay.
They're fucked if we go in.
I know what I would take. Yeah. Because I can only have one of these magic
Plus 2
items.
staff that evaporates people on top.
Oh yeah, you have. Shit. Fuck, Drugal. Ah, you're all fucked.
No, halal.
Halal. Oh, cock.
This guy's mad, halal. Oh, no, he's not.
Oh shit, he's dead now.
Yeah, I know what I'd take
halal.
with me. Yeah, I'm definitely entering.
Right, so
Oh yeah, because that's technically part of that, which doesn't count. Yeah, I know exactly what I've got there.
So next then, your two roleplay. So
It's like a 50 gold.
she's okay,
I'm entering for sure.
Just go.
I'm guessing we've all
Well,
done
are you
it. Yes,
gonna
you've sort of gone end of the
Come
day.
up to me
Guys.
or are you gonna pull me out of my bed while I'm sleeping?
No, I think it's end of the day, not quite. You're probably in your jammies.
Oh.
I don't use
I've
it.
entered the tournament.
See,
What day is
my
it?
only pair of clothes I have.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sure. What day is the
Buy some new
tournament?
ones.
In relation to
Yeah, I
Might
think
be
probably
to-
we've just been having a bit of
Oh,
a
it's in
discussion in
7
the
days.
evening, and
Yeah.
it's come about the basin.
Okay, yeah,
And
I'm
I'm just
definitely
going,
entering the tournament. No.
yeah, I've still got that. You should have a go.
Yeah, you should. We all did.
I
It's
think
how I got
should
cucumber.
have another go.
Oh, fuck.
Give me a
Yes.
pen, please,
What did I
quickly. I
get
need
from
to
that?
write down random
What did you get?
generated
Yeah,
in.
You got the sword.
Oh yeah, I did. What's his sword? Yeah, I didn't technically get anything from
You
it.
could have another go.
I might. It's more or less like a deck of many things. That's the problem.
This is the thing. It
You
could
didn't
go
hear
good,
that.
it could go bad.
It's a deck of many things that doesn't produce effects.
The
It produces
bad
items.
things. Yeah.
It produces items, so you've got to deal with the item.
Realistically, if one of the things is it produces a baby or whatever.
We
Again,
just
it's
curbed on it.
How much are your
So,
grenades? Because I said I wanted
we
to
have
buy
a-
2 from you when you had
I
a chance to
I
take 2
haven't had a
grenades.
chance to make any yet.
Yeah, no, but
Um,
how much are they?
Okay.
Oh,
And all it needs is a drop of blood.
Good question.
Because I said I
Singular
would
drop
basically
of
pay
blood.
you the
Yes.
costs of it, and I would just have
One
to.
drop.
Just one drop.
It's just for the
It could be
case when any
your
day.
right, it could be any.
500 per.
What does it do?
500 for that.
Yeah, I
It
would probably do
produces
mixed
something.
rates and go 350.
350.
An item.
I still got
A being.
to get some money on it, I guess. And so
So 850.
We don't know its full potential.
for 2,
For 2.
Your warrick
350
has the
twice.
familiar.
So 750.
I
750. Yeah.
guess I could give it
That's 50
a
gold
try.
extra there. Yeah. If
Come on now.
so
735
I
to
don't have
70.
anything.
Huh?
235
provide
to
the blood
70.
with.
So
Yeah.
700
I don't have the
Yeah.
for 2.
tool or a
That's
weapon.
probably doable, yes, but I need.
No, you have anything.
Yeah. No. It's when
You've got
like
50
he would buy
daggers in
he
your
would buy
bag.
I
them.
still
blood
got a
there,
big chunk
Yeah,
of
cut
meat.
myself with a
Like
blade.
I said, he would buy them from you when you have
No,
them.
we don't
Basically,
need it.
when you can give him 2,
Yeah, yeah.
he'll pay for them then. Basically.
Yeah. I
So
think-
we're in the thing doing the sitting. Are we sitting around it like you would a Ouija board sort of thing?
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
My room has that ambiance. Everything's in like
Oh,
blacks and
Jesus.
greys. And
Okay, then what part of
Oh,
the compass
dear.
are we all each on?
Hmm?
What part of the compass are we each on? This is your room. You get to decide where we're sitting.
I'll be on the south, east, west, north.
I'm north. All right.
West actually suits me because I'm from the west, technically.
I'm from a different land.
Okay,
So are we doing this?
Yeah.
Are you willingly doing this?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
Like,
It's nothing bad. Nothing.
I'm too
Well, you don't know nothing bad will happen.
young and.
I don't
naive
exactly,
to
and I'm telling him
It's
that
worth
he can
having
insight
a
this
reason
if he
to
wants.
surround.
I just
Why
hope my
not?
room doesn't get
Like,
trashed.
peer pressure, you know.
I'm telling you nothing bad will happen, but yeah,
And if it does, we can fix this.
yeah, we can fix it.
Extend my finger.
Okay.
Get one of the good daggers out. Good God!
Oh, that's not too bad.
Okay.
I'll do it now.
Ooh.
Go on then. What's happened?
You get a gold coin.
Oh.
A gold coin.
Damn it,
It's not
I'm
like
maybe
it's not like a normal gold coin though.
Okay.
What? Is it another curse gold coin?
What does it look like?
Just a gold coin, but it doesn't look like your like regular gold
Arcana
coins.
check?
It's got the
Yeah,
same.
sure.
It's got the same sort of like. I guess.
It's got the same
heads
feel
and
and feel.
tails.
It's got the same feel and weight, but the pictures on it are completely different and undiscernible.
I
19.
On Arcana,
bite it.
it's not magical.
It's not magical.
I'll bite it.
Cool.
See if it's like what is with
Yeah.
if it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is real.
Give me a look. Flick.
Nothing happens.
No?
It just comes back down.
Dunk.
Yeah.
Feels right.
Yeah.
What are the pictures of it on? Of?
Yeah.
One is a lady holding a wreath on one side, and the other is like a horn with devils.
Do we
basically
recognise them?
Roll religion.
Bad and good.
Where's the
Oh,
cloud?
I can roll religion. I'm a cleric, I've got +6.
17 for my religion check.
Oh, +4. All right then.
Natural 1 for my religion.
17.
Yeah, you ain't got a fucking clue. 16.
There's an old story that mentions before the war happened, there was a queen, as I've mentioned several times.
Yes.
There was a story where the devil tried to trick her and like she succeeded. Basically, it's like an old wives' tale, basically, where the devil tried to trick her and didn't succeed. So the coin seems to be representing that story.
Any particular value to it?
Instantly.
It's kind of invaluable because nobody's probably seen one of these for a long time.
Fantastic.
It's like an old
heirloom, yeah, basically.
Essentially, yeah.
It's a for coin
Ye olde
I
collectors.
days.
forgot the bowl again now.
It's a
With
coin
your
collector
coin,
coin, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll just put it away somewhere. In a pouch or something.
Yeah. Try not to spend it.
Yeah, don't put it in your gold pouch.
Don't spend all at once.
Yeah.
Feels like it's like something you know pay the ferry with, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It could be worth in high places. That's the thing. Yeah. It sounds like.
Or it could be like used as a slot, like a key or something.
Yes, there's always that.
Okay, we'll go with that. Okay, do it. Have a roll it. Okay. I need to get the stats.
What's
up.
happened?
I need to get the stats up for this.
I'm not again.
no.
Huh?
Hag baby wasn't good.
What did you do?
I'm ending up with something bad again.
Yeah.
No, what did you do? Did you put your
I
blood
need
in?
my tablet.
Or mine not your blood in?
Mine.
Your
So-
own blood.
Elf blood. So essentially, baby blood. Is this mine or yours? No, this is mine.
Mine's at home, Stu, because it's not working that well.
Ah, nuts.
So the ace of my blood got a weird devil lady coin.
Yeah. Great.
Well, one side's got a
Yeah.
lady on it, and the other side's got a devil on
The
it.
devil went down Georgia.
Down on Georgia.
When you got the sword, what blood did you use?
I used my own. Didn't I? Yeah, I used my own. For
Yeah,
that,
everyone
didn't I?
used their own blood,
Yeah.
with one exception. You got the hag baby from the hag
Mm.
blood.
Minotaur blood.
Hmm?
Minotaur blood got the familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minotaur blood got cucumber. Which we've got more of.
Right. Okay. So out of the basin comes a red hag,
Oh dear!
A full-grown hag.
a full-grown
Alright.
Yeah, fine.
Full-grown red hag.
Oh man.
Brilliant.
2 seconds, I'll be right back.
She doesn't. She seems mightily confused, but she doesn't seem to want to initiate combat per se.
Hello?
She does not speak common.
Orcish, hello?
I try hello in Elvish.
Does anybody know Druidic or Giants?
No. Druidic is Sylvan, isn't it? Yeah. So Sylvan or Giant, basically, the two languages.
I am going to gesture her to leave the house. I'm just going to leave her wonderful. I'll point her in the direction of the elevator.
An elder race, much like. Oh no, actually, everyone roll nature.
Ooh. We're on initiatives then.
No, nature check.
Oh, nature check. What the fuck?
Because
19.
she's not.
She's not aggressive.
She's not aggressive. She just looks really confused.
11.
19.
I also got 19.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bitchin'.
so you know, red hags are quite the exception amongst the hag race.
Oh, okay.
So they're by nature they're all hags are evil in some way.
Yes, yeah.
But red hags are less inclined to do evil.
Oh, so they're good hags.
Not
Better
good.
hags.
They're better hags. So they don't sacrifice for no reason. They still sacrifice things. But
Okay, but they've got a damned good reason
Yeah,
to sack them.
yeah.
Okay,
So
I like
they're
that.
evil natured and lined, but they're more.
Did we just get a new
flexible.
employee free?
No, I just released her.
so
into
then-
Finrasda.
Can you speak?
Are you able to speak Sylvan or Giant?
I know common and gnome.
No.
No.
No. What use is an employee we can't speak to? Bye.
You know they're tied to nature very, very strongly. Most hags
Mm-hmm.
are not tied to nature per se. They're made of nature.
Oh,
Red
right.
hags are more elven in nature.
So they're half hags-ish.
Yeah.
They're still
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Could we direct her to the
Nice.
edge of the tier and just sort of like push her over?
I don't think she's that stupid.
No. Would she be able to fly?
They practice blood magic as well.
Yeah, would they be able to fly?
She's not going to take over my little park, is she?
I don't know. She doesn't seem.
No, let's just get her out.
Let me
Now,
just
she's
see what
somebody else's
spell.
problem.
No, let's see what
It's
spell
gone.
she knows
My
and see
safe-
if she
my
can
safe
do
list.
anything.
Yeah, I wish her the best and tell her to get out of my shop. The fuck out of my shop.
She doesn't understand a
You're
word you're
barred.
saying.
Get out. I'll do the typical British thing.
Oh,
I have to.
do any?
Get out!
Do any of you have
Just
any
shout out
animals?
Does anyone have what?
Does my familiar count?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cucumber.
She can talk to cucumber.
Can
Can-
Cucumber
can
talk
Cu-
to us?
No, can cucumber talk to me as my familiar?
You'd be able
yeah,
to.
do.
You've got a mental pathway, so you would
Yeah.
understand
Almost telepathic.
basic
isn't it? So, yeah.
basic messages, but not word for word.
Okay, so what's she saying?
How the hell did I get you?
No. Apparently, she's from a faraway land. Something about sand,
I don't make sense.
and she was in the middle of assisting a human settlement,
Mm-hmm.
but then suddenly appeared here.
Okay. Where are you from? Plane.
Based roll nature.
Yeah.
No, that's in that one.
Roll knowledge planes.
Yeah. From the sounds of it, there's on this plane of existence because
I like what
you
you've
know
done with
about
your
this
room.
plane specifically.
It's really.
The only
Fancy, right?
thing about sand
sure.
that you know of
It goes
is
with my bitchy
before the
props.
poison,
Yeah, right.
poison bridge
Demonic
became the
ritual.
poison bridge.
Yeah.
It was a desert
It's
land.
not a demo.
Go south.
Demons. We haven't come up with any
Um,
demons yet.
Out of city.
Evil fate then.
Yeah.
And you're telling the squirrels
No, no, yeah.
the
We've had
Good
one
rabbits
back.
tell
Yeah,
her.
true,
This is
true.
significantly mediocre.
Yeah.
Based off this, she clicks her fingers and disappears.
Okay.
Oh, thank God. It's probably solved
Cool.
itself.
Do you know what? I think it's a night of rituals. Let's.
Cucumber.
Another one, okay. Gnome blood this time.
Yeah.
Oh God, I need to keep stop making me write random.
Gnomi.
Didn't you already write one for Gnome Blood?
Not good
Thank you,
elf,
Dave.
not gnome.
I did, but I've lost it.
Oh, yes. What should be the one that he doesn't want me to have again? Yes.
A question, Stu. Another question about weapons. I almost forgot to mention. I've got these metallic-looking gloves.
Yes.
They're gloves, but they seem to be made out of metal, but they're not.
They look metal, but they're not.
I have
Yeah,
extremely
Are
similar
they like
ones.
ring metal then? Because you
No.
flexibility.
No, they're not even ring metal. They're proper fabric. They just seem to be made out of metal.
You get a black sword.
A black sword.
Yeah.
Balance it.
It's very well balanced.
Very balanced. Looking at it.
It looks like a sword.
Yeah, any like symbols.
Long sword,
pieces.
great sword, small
It's-
sword.
It's very black
Yeah.
and it's thinner than your average long sword, but not as thin as a rapier. So it's a very light and sort of like, and there's no discernible. It's just got like a handle and then it's like a black and a sword.
More of a dueling sort of
Yeah.
thing, you think? Is it sort of haha?
It's essentially a small long sword.
S-stock? An S-stock or something?
Not sure, but yeah.
Can we have to check it out?
Any magics on it?
Roll a card.
Or get a Derek.
Or I might, if I fail it, I want to do it first. 16?
Yes, it's very magical.
Oh yeah, what the fuck does it do? Derek, what the hell does this thing do?
Oh, I'm Derek. I am. What are you doing?
Jesus.
Can we get any Derek blood, do you think?
No,
I don't think that exists.
That's- yeah.
No, he'll just die and we'll lose our shop.
So what am I doing?
Tell me what this does.
What's a sort of animation?
Sort of animation. Oh god.
You get all the swords.
On this thing.
Can I ask? Have my
Sure,
rolls
no,
just
not.
been shit?
A sword slinger or
I
a
don't know. Have they?
Exactly, I keep
They
getting
see
fucking
you.
sword. They
throw
do,
swords.
yeah. A sword of animation, and what does one of them do in it at all?
So based on its command words,
Okay.
it activates for 1 minute, and essentially it does its own. Think spiritual weapon, essentially.
So as a bonus action, you can move and have an attack.
Like a dancing blade.
Yeah. That's for
okay.
1 minute and it'll drop on the floor.
It moves on its own and attacks on its
But
own.
roll, based on hearing the word animation blade, roll history check.
+4. 6.
Okay, anyone helping him?
Yep.
Okay.
11.
You've heard of the sort of animation, not from this plane, but from your home plane. It's on the tip of your tongue, but you get the feeling that it's not something good.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah, probably. It requires attunement, and I got no attunement slots left. Tell you that for nothing.
Yeah.
You do see a bead, actually. A Yoni bead. Floating around my head all the time.
Do you think
Oh,
it?
I own it.
Yeah.
Do you think this item is cursed?
Maybe. I don't know.
Derek can deal with that.
That doesn't
Can?
identify. Say it's cursed.
Cursed Gonkoi.
Oh, he can.
Do you still have more Minotaur blood though last time?
Fuck, what have I done?
Do you have Minotaur blood?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, for God's sakes, Dan.
I'm not going to
It's a
use
night
you,
of
but-
rituals. Why not?
You gave us this item and let us take it with us.
Yeah.
We should have.
If anything,
attached
it's
it
your
to
fault.
The floor. If it's not bolted down, we'll take it.
Pretty much at this point.
Yeah.
This is the shenanigans that we get up to, by the way.
This is not what this session was expected to be like, I'm guessing.
No.
I think he wanted us to take on side quests and then go do them.
Yeah, not set up shop and spill our blood.
No, I had an idea that you wanted to set up shop, which is why I was quite prepared for it,
Oh,
but
no,
not
okay.
100%. But I was expecting you to do side quests and then do the tournament, not randomly do rituals.
Well, we're also going to do some side quests as well, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Have you picked up any side quests, did you?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for the Dwarven one. Dwarven Metal.
Oh, checking out up north, okay.
Yeah, because I
So
think
we can...
we can go along. And
Have you? Did you actually establish that you've taken it on with the board people?
Not yet. Do it tomorrow.
Okay, if we're going to go do it,
Do
you're
it
going to have to
tomorrow,
make
yeah.
sure you establish that you've taken it
Alright,
first.
okay, so who's blood, Minotaur's blood?
Minotaur.
I did.
You get 2,000 gold.
Fuck's sake. Bastard.
You say that and you got a sword of animation.
That item's probably worth more than 2,000 once you've stripped it of its curse and had it fully applied.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm pissed off at getting shitty stuff.
What are you going to do? Don't forget Minotaur blood has so far proven effective.
Minotaur blood.
You're using Minotaur blood.
Minotaur blood has proven effective. I got you a fucking sword and I got another sword.
Yeah, you've got swords so
Boom!
But that's because you're the
Yeah,
inventor
how?
type who...
This is true.
And what?
You get a cow.
Seriously, got a cow.
Just a cow.
Is it
That's perfect. We can start fucking churning our own butter.
a fake
Get
cow
our
or is it a
cheese.
cow?
Done.
Don't we already have a way of getting our own cheese?
Yeah, but technicalities. we put. Well,
Oh yeah, we've got a wand
There's
of
no
cheese.
curb stomping
Yeah,
a
we
cow,
might,
is there?
No, we're gonna put that.
Well,
on
you
the
could.
You could, but it would take several curb stomps to curb stomp the
I
cow.
think we've got an employee who's a farmer, haven't we?
Indeed, yeah, we have, yeah. Jim!
Roll.
Look after this. piece.
Yeah, look after Daisy.
Roll Arcana.
It's a magical cow!
Oh, go on. Daisy.
Oh, God.
11 plus 2, 3?
14, 30 days.
3, yeah, 14.
14. And it. Oh.
Any help?
It's a magical cow.
Any help?
Derek, what's the cow do?
Cast identified on the cow.
The cow's gonna move.
Derek's not paying attention. He's actually gone to hug the cow.
Aw.
Derek,
So
what's
he's
this do?
got-
And then he starts floating in the air with the cow.
That's a flying cow.
The cow jumped over the moon. Nice.
You've got a flying cow instead of a flying carpet.
Well, it gets you places
So-
quicker.
But it's...
So what does this cow do?
It's a flying cow.
Cow has.
Yeah, okay, what's its flight speed?
What, 30?
It's like 30 foot.
I was watching Critical Role yesterday and they say there's a magical cow from Polymorph and a polymorph cow and it had 40 feet of movement.
Nice.
Does it produce really nice, light
milk.
milk?
Raw nature.
Oh, got 6.
I'll help you with that.
Yeah, help.
That's better than nothing.
Plus 3. 11.
It does feel
12.
It does feel lighter than normal as you grasp him, maybe.
Is it because they're not attached to like he's not technically on the ground?
Yeah.
Curveball.
Right.
I'm going to, with a dagger, nick a little bit of blood from the cow and put it.
Oh, for God's sake. I'm just going to use the Minotaur blood for this. They're the same family,
Close
right?
enough.
Close enough.
Well, it depends. One's a bull.
Oh, do you know what?
Is it a dairy cow or is it a bull?
Oops. How to really fuck the GM off.
Oh, I'm dying.
Not if I can help it.
One of these days you can put blood in it, it's going to implode.
Yeah. Oof. Oh shit.
Yeah, we accidentally used the charges without realising it.
Does it have charges? Derek.
I haven't broke this guy already.
Yeah, Derek.
Okay, let's roll this. Where's my d8? Yeah, this is good enough. You get another cow.
When we can breed them.
We've got a family of cows now.
Roll Arcana.
Oh, is it a sinking cow?
Cow of something else.
Oh God.
It's a cow extra gravity, so you can't lift it up. It's
7?
Derek's let go of the other cow and started hugging this one.
Oh, no, of course he has.
The cow that you've just summoned has now started climbing the wall.
Spider climb.
Wow.
We have a talented pair of cows.
Spider cow, does whatever spider cow does.
Okay, so
It's not a business venture.
can I ask,
Aye. Yeah.
if I milk this cow and drink the milk, would I get this effect of that the cows have?
Roll Arcana.
In the meantime, I'm gonna nick myself one more time.
And you do use your blood.
13.
Roll.
I'll give you advantage. I'll be helping
16.
you on that. Just roll it
Oh,
together.
no, I'm rolling.
You roll that, yeah.
I'm just genuinely
16.
16 on the
sitting there
advantage.
bemused, like, what
What
are
the
these people
fuck are you
doing?
guys doing?
What are these people
Welcome to
doing?
our world.
I made a terrible
You'd have to
decision.
try it, but you have heard that it's possible.
Do you want flight or climbing? I asked. I'll do the other.
Both.
Yeah, no,
What's
but
the point of
it's
both?
harder to test
One
both at
one-
the same time.
One negligent.
You get a gun.
This is my thing.
Okay.
I give it a proper look. What type of gun is it?
It's a pistol.
It's just single shot, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a single shooter.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this. Looking over it, anything special, symbols, faces.
It is purple with the gold rimming, and it's got like gold
Purple.
engraved on it. Yeah.
Okay. Feel.
Feels very good.
Yeah.
Roll Arcana.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna come.
Do you want to drink some of the floating one or the climbing one?
I'll go fly.
9.
Pardon? I'll go climbing.
You
one.
can't discern what it is, but you feel like you've felt something like this before, quite recently.
Oh, touched.
No.
Like his sword.
No.
No. Oh.
Like
the
an
previous
animated
sword.
sword.
Like animated gun. You have an animated gun.
Oh right. So
Yeah.
I've got a
Animated sword and
a
animated
dancing gun.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Nice.
that's relatively cool.
I'm going to drink
Yeah,
some
that-
of the climbing cow's milk.
Go over there, shoot them
Straight
while I
from the
shoot
other.
them from here.
Are you for real?
Yes.
Yes.
Unpasteurized cow milk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
God, no! Don't do that.
Just did it.
Try climbing a wall.
I tried climbing a wall.
Roll Arcana.
Roll
I-
Arcana.
I'm done for the night. I'm go bed. Bye. Gone.
6 for Arcana.
Your palms do feel like they're sticky,
Yeah.
and then you touch it, and then it feels more like Velcro. So you start climbing, and it doesn't seem to work.
So I need to drink more. So I'm gonna get an empty potion bottle. Fill the potion bottle with the milk, and then drink the potion bottle worth.
How much for
Easy
a
to just
medium
distill
chest? I would
it
have bought that at some
somehow.
point.
A medium chair. 20 gold.
20 per, okay.
Roll Arcana again.
9.
I'm still not sticking to the wall.
I'm trying the light one.
The moment you drink it, you levitate for like 2 seconds and then go back to the ground.
Okay, so perhaps if we make cheese out of this milk.
We can do that already.
Wand of cheese on the milk?
Yeah, it turns into cheese.
And
you're
you
doing
eat
on the
cheese?
bottle as well.
No, I'm gonna get. No, I'm gonna
It makes work differently for humanoids.
get a bowl,
Yeah.
wand of cheese on the milk.
Yeah. It turns into cheese.
Eat the cheese in the bowl.
You eat it, you got the kind one, haven't you?
Yeah,
It's like a sticky mozzarella, so it hasn't got a lot of taste to it.
I like mozzarella. That's fine. Attempt to climb.
Nothing.
Okay. I guess we have to distill the milk.
Somehow we're gonna have to seek expert advice.
Derek
Like
is
some kind of
thinking about,
farm.
as Derek seems to be holding a dagger and he wants to start cutting more cows. to get more cows.
No, Derek, no. No. It's time for bed.
But they're friends.
Derek.
What are we naming them, he says?
Derek.
That's up to you, Derek.
Derek.
Daisy and Daisy.
Oh,
Okay.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Now, which
That's
one's Daisy
original.
1 and which one's Daisy 2?
Derek. Bed.
I don't sleep.
Then do whatever you fucking do. Just go to bed.
Enchant
Oh yeah, actually no. You can spend the night doing the rest of the fucking stuff.
I feel like that
Chicken
I'm being
tonight?
taken advantage of here.
Do you want to earn us money or not?
I don't know. I thought the whole point was to find Moradin. That
Yes.
hasn't going very well.
We'll get to that.
We are trying our best to find Moradin, but in the meantime, let's deal with the here and now.
The finances of this operation mean we can go more smoothly through to finding Moradin if we are able to grease palms.
Oh God, I don't know.
And I'll give you a cow if you do it.
He's put more cow blood in there.
I will fucking pierce his fucking skull. I won't.
You get another cow.
No, we do?
Yes.
What does this one do?
This you don't even need to know this. He goes, "I'm a cow." And
I still can.
It talks. The cow
Okay.
talks.
How many languages does the cow?
Common and cow.
see Spaniel.
Common and cow.
Okay.
Well, I'm writing down.
I guess
what
I'll
I'm
start
reading in my
talking
room.
celestial and see if it responds.
Yeah, it responds. It is a multilingual talking cow. You have a translator cow.
Does it fit in my bag of
Oh, a cow of tongues. So to
Yeah.
speak. All we need is get like a wagon and just put the cows as like
Yeah,
work beasts. And
yeah.
you can fly, you can climb, you can talk.
The climbing is a bit unnecessary when you've got the flying.
Yeah. You can just slaughter that one and meat
Is
out of
anybody
it.
stopping him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm getting the cows out of my room. So long as they're not in my room, I'm happy. They can stay in the rest of the house.
Oh,
The cow's spider
You-
climb has been there for a while. He's already sat
spell
before.
life. Right?
Sorry?
I am going to
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
spells
pull out my
and
halal
stuff.
staff,
Yeah.
say
Uh,
halal,
yes.
switch it on, and
Fun with this.
zap the shit out of existence.
Yeah.
What?
Roll Arcana.
Oh,
I've already got one
I know. Roll
This one's a
Arcana and then roll
wonderful person.
Perception.
on the whole person.
Which requires
15.
a 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Consider it a gift.
I mean, you can have 3 2 items at once, can't you?
Yes.
14.
Does the one more mage require a 2?
You're able to get
Does
rid of the
one more
poo,
mage require a 2?
but you do leave a
Probably.
slight groove in the floor.
one that
so
you've
like
got.
you the staff has eaten a
Which
tiny
one?
bit of the
The
floor.
one with the war mage, the plus
Yeah.
1 and one with the
No.
Just bought these carpets. Okay, so long as the shit is gone, that's fine.
And the doom stick has been turned into a shit stick.
And I switch it off
You
again.
can see that.
Normal hold
That's
person.
good use of that.
Yes,
use
sure.
mine.
It literally does
You use
normal
mine,
hold
it's
person.
good use.
Yeah.
Right, okay, we all happy?
Yeah, what are we doing now? Are you
I'm sleeping.
could you put the cows in the group inventory?
Remember, you do have a little field outside, so you could put the cows.
You can pasteurise them.
And I'm going to tell one of our staff to keep an eye on them and look after them because he's a farmer and he knows what to do.
Yeah.
He knows how to maintain cows.
Well, that worked out well.
Yeah.
Try to hide their abilities if they can.
Yeah. Conceal, don't feel.
Oh, how are we going to stop the bloody spider one from just wandering off and up everything?
How are you going to stop
There's
the
no-
time
Tie him
from
up.
not
There's no
flying
grass
away?
on the walls.
Tie him up.
Tie them down?
There's no grass on the walls, you're alright.
I
There's
keep
no reason for you
balloon
up
in the
there.
wind.
We should be email shot the flying cow.
I'll get attached by a rope, me like a little balloon.
Well, that's a good advertisement. Let's put it down.
Yeah.
It will
Are they the one with the flying cow? Yeah, that one.
You know those people who have those big balloons above their shops? Yeah, we just got a cow.
Jesus. Oh man.
Right, okay, so let's
I'm kicking everyone out my room and
I've already left.
Yeah.
The one that I had of whole person
yeah.
has now been given away to Kylan.
Oh, cool. Okay. Good stuff.
What was I going to say? Yeah. Just so you're aware, there's an advertisement
Okay,
of my services in the shop window.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. With
Why
that.
not strap it to the flying cow?
Because no one would be able to beat it.
Oh yeah.
It's flying.
People with flying? They could use the spider climb.
So let's just say that was one day and you've got another 5 days. You wake up and
Sweet.
let's just assume that the cow has gotten a lot of attention. Well, all the cows have gotten attention.
Yeah, I'll bet it
And has it
has.
drawn any custom into the shop?
That's really fast way to get
More
by
more
with
like
this
passers by just enjoying the spectacle. Yeah. Because remember, people are coming and going. There's mostly smithers on this floor. So literally seeing this is just like, oh, is this just like, oh, there's another one of these? Because these shops do appear from time to time where they're just like weird and fantastical.
Oh,
So
one
shop-
of those again.
Yeah, one of those.
Fucking hell.
Yeah,
Flying
They'll be gone in 2 weeks.
yeah, that's that sort of reaction. Oh, they'll be gone in a month, basically.
No, we won't.
Yeah.
We're here to fucking stay back.
Well, they don't know that, do they?
Maybe it's just a base of operations as well, somewhere we can go where we know we're safe.
So you got 5 days before you need to do your.
Old job.
So if anybody wants to do jobs now,
I'm gonna discuss this with these guys about the jobs that we saw in the
okay.
Writers Guild and see if they like any of them.
Seeing as I said, was there any black jobs?
Other than the 4 that you know of, there was one more.
Which was
I'll have to get the name. Is that for you?
Yeah, there's
What have we got?
a dwarf gone missing with a cartload of metal.
What? Metal. Oh. Okay.
A cartload of dwarven metal
Indeed.
that
yes.
was heading
Golden metal.
here. So
Yeah. Oh, okay.
which we might be able to go and rescue this dwarf and save face with the things. And oh no, the metal's gone missing. What are we going to be doing? You know.
Oh, let's keep with it.
True enough.
Let's
Think it through afterwards.
answer.
Yes, I agree. Yes, that sounds entertaining. What else
It's
have we
something to do. Of course, I forgot the other one. Because I only ever seen 2 of them.
Just as long as I don't draw too much attention to myself, I'll help.
There's a black for Archpope leaving.
that guy.
You haven't met him.
Yeah, no, but I've heard of him.
Yeah, you met the Archbishop. You met the Avatar. But you didn't meet the Archpope.
Yeah, no, but we heard the Archbishop talking bad about the Archpope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to take that one up. There's an assassination hit on the Archpope in the royal capital who we heard about.
One day.
Other than that, there's like I said,
Assassination's just on a public board.
No.
Oh,
I'm a special adventure skilled person, so I have access to some others
Yeah,
that aren't
I'm
on
a
the
bounty
board.
hunter. How did I get my bounties in the past, actually?
Probably word of mouth.
Yeah, fair enough.
If you don't have a tag, it wouldn't be word of mouth.
So it wouldn't be with them.
No.
It would be a different way then.
It may have
yeah.
been through the mafia.
There we are then. Probably the mafia.
Personal hire, maybe.
Yeah.
Come
I'm
to
hiding
the
a
pubs,
secret.
see you meet,
Are
give
we
you
up for going and
a
finding
perk.
another one?
I
Half time.
don't see a problem with trying to find a dwarf. How long will it take?
I don't know. What's that? Let me just read the quest and see what happens. It's 9:30. No, it's 9:40 now. So if you were to do this, just be aware of that.
Stu, can you also make us aware when the claws and the shields sell? because they're being advertised in the shop.
They'll be sold before your old job. So just put the money down now, basically.
Okay. So it was 15%.
How much were they? How much did you say again?
How much did I say that they were worth?
Yeah.
They were worth 1,300 each, the swords, and 6k for the shield.
So one shield, 6k, and two. How many swords?
2 swords.
They were 13k each, so that's another 26k. That's 32k.
260, 390 for the first one.
So it's 32k earned overall.
Yeah.
It's
15% to you.
It's 2 days travel to the end of the main road, and then it's another 3 days travel to where the meeting point was.
So I get 27.2, yeah.
Have time for this with work.
And then the rest is yours.
So it would take you 2 days there, and even if he wasn't on the way there, you don't know where on the road he was taken, so it would take a maximum of 5 days.
Is that the return journey as well, or the whole?
Yeah, so 2 days there
Two-
to the end of
What
the
was
main
the
road.
other?
840.
Bronze.
So you can't do the fire one.
So I got
It was ancient. There's like trees or something, wasn't it?
Miggins of Wonders is asking for a job, and he had a two clause one. He's looking for people to do his show, and he's looking for somebody to deal with a satyr. And
Giant.
no, giant one is a silver.
Like I said, if you wanted to do that, I would pick it up for you, type thing.
And trees are going and moving around. And people are thinking it's dryads.
Because I know that we're capable of it, type thing. So if it's more of a if you wanted to do it, because these particularly don't interest me, but I would be still willing to help.
Where the forest is, they were thinking about setting a logging company up there, and it failed because of whatever was going on down there.
How far away is it?
At this point, I'm willing to do whatever anyone wants me to do.
We don't have the time to do the dwarf one. It's 5 days away.
Wow.
And I'm needed in less than that time.
Yes. So that one's definitely on the back burner, unfortunately.
Um,
Yeah, I'm happy to do whatever the party needs me to do at the moment, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm sitting on a golden throne.
What can we
We need
actually
to
do
carry
within
on that
time
income,
restraints?
so the dryad one would
Why
take
do
you
you need that
2
many?
days south and 2 days back, so that's 4 days.
Buy a
You'd be able
bigger
to do that
fort.
one.
Build their own
Um,
fort.
The Hunters
Wouldn't
Guild
that?
one you'd be able to do instantaneous because it's the same thing.
Money is
after.
the answer.
What one, sorry?
The Actors Guild
D&D
one.
sucks.
Ah.
Easiest
And
to
then
do, make all
the
money, buy everything out.
the Fire Giant one you'd
Buy
be able to do
everything.
straight away as well because it's just outside Finrasda.
There's a price for everything.
So the only two that have got time constraints are the Dryad one and the Dwarven one.
Oh, nutsacks.
It's up to you.
As far as I'm concerned, until a decision is made, I'm making myself some grenades.
Fair enough.
Got money. How long did we say they were taking per?
We didn't. I'm trying to think what.
Didn't you say it was a day per?
No, it's different per group. I always ask the GM.
For a grenade?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because I'm making it with sulphur as I do my normal ammunitions.
I'd say 2.5 hours per one.
2.5 per?
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh! 2.5 per? How long are you guys taking?
Oh no, actually you're right. If I do that, you'll have
Yeah,
like 5.
I'll have we've got how many days?
How many hours in a day?
5
Yeah.
days.
And how many hours in a day?
And I could spend 2.5 hours of my long rest doing that.
Let's say 8 hours.
8 per, yeah?
Yeah, 8
Okay
per.
with that.
So that's one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one a day. Then.
I can work on 2 though.
If you wanted to go for the exhaustion.
Yes, I do. You roll for exhaustion.
No, you don't.
No,
you just get
that's-
it automatically.
You
You get
get
it
it
automatically.
That's a different
Um,
system. I'm thinking Starfinder.
It applies disadvantage on ability checks. That also includes tool checks.
okay.
Yeah, no,
Anything else?
then. Okay.
Do you think it's worth taking any jobs?
Up to you. I'm going to sit here and make a grenade until I'm told to move.
I stay inside most days and I go out at night to the Tranquil Park area.
I don't know that any of the missions are worth the time at the
What-
moment.
Is anything happening on the Colosseum other than the big tournament?
Like I said, there's shows there every day. So literally, but they're more like acting and theatre shows and stuff like that.
Okay.
I think basically I just want to go and speak to the... Who is our contact at the Colosseum?
Miggins.
Miggins. Yeah, I think I just want to go and talk to him. I don't think it's worth
Oh.
taking a mission before Warwick's.
I go down to the forge and all that, and one dagger, melt.
Yeah.
Direct dagger, melt.
Yeah.
Do you know the radio thing that we've got? Make
Yeah.
another one.
Okay. Does that?
Yeah.
Does that?
Yeah.
Good.
Here's a radio.
A radio?
It's push to talk.
Does it look like a radio?
It's essentially a walkie-talkie, but you, the character, may not know how to use it.
There's also a little headpiece. Oh yeah, we've each got these little headpieces
we
on.
have. It's push to talk.
Right.
Put this in your ear. Put this in your ear. Now stay here. Stay here. Stay here. Upstairs. Hello?
I don't know how to use this, so I'll just send you a message.
What? No. The button on the side. Push the button on the side.
Hello?
Speak a bit louder.
Hello?
There you go. Now we can hear you. You don't have to speak that loud all the time, though. Just this time, okay?
I can do this anyway without this thing.
Yeah. But not the rest of us. So.
I can do it to anyone.
Yeah. But I can't do it back to you.
Oh, you can respond to my messages.
I mean, I can, yes, but not when I definitely need you. I can't. Only when you start it.
Okay. my fingers have been about the whole time, so I don't think I've heard anything you've said.
That was literally message all the time. Yes, it was fantastic. Oh yeah. By the way, you have to stop pushing it when you're not talking.
You have to come down and tell me that because I'm still pressing it.
We were still in message.
Oh,
weren't
still
we?
message,
right. Depress it and then let the other
Tell me
person
what you
talk.
could do.
Right, okay.
What are you doing?
There you go. You're getting the hang of it
Tell me
now.
what we could do in
Still seems
no, it's
pointless.
up to you guys, isn't it?
No,
I want
no,
to
it
go and
doesn't.
speak to the guy in the
Miggins.
Colosseum. I want to go and
I
speak
trust you.
to
I wouldn't trust me.
So you go to the
That's out of
Colosseum, you name drop Amy's name essentially,
Oh,
and you
God.
get Moses and Wiggins eventually. It saves about half an hour with them.
Yeah, you can see the Ione Stone
And he
of
goes, hello, how can I help you?
awareness
Hi, nice to
floating
meet
around.
you.
Nice to
at
meet
all the
you.
time.
I hear
Can't remember what
you're
colour
ever
that
so
one is.
slightly touched.
Oh, they all say that they do.
Oh, protection.
Yes.
Yes,
Can't
and you've
remember
been
what
in
colour that
contact
is,
with
but, yeah.
Halal?
Oh, yes, lovely lady. Well, once you get to know her, if you don't get to know her, you're dead.
Is it still technically
And how did you go about getting to know Halal?
As a god.
Well,
Um,
I'm talented, you see. So I
Good
can
question.
act,
I
sing,
think
dance,
just
play the
for the sake of
xylophone,
the
you
ball,
name
my own
it.
That is
And
very
Halal one day approached me and said,
Question,
that
yeah.
seems
I
like
forgot the
fun.
answer.
And I was like, yes,
Like,
yes
she's
it
got that,
is.
hasn't she?
Yeah.
And she sat down and listened to me play the xylophone. And she said, can you play anything else? And I said, no, I'm afraid not. My mortal hands have the coils, I'm afraid. And then she touched me and said, now you can learn whatever you like, but you must entertain me at all times.
Okay.
So every once in a while, I play a little song for her, and I get the feeling that she's listening.
Oh, that's very nice.
Or sometimes I do hear the curdling screams of people in my dreams.
Oh, swings and roundabouts.
Yes, of course. Why do you ask, dear?
This one's for me, I'm afraid.
I am
What's
ever
this?
so
This
slightly
is
touched
for me.
yourself.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
have
you
you
said
met
when you get
her?
to that you can
Isn't
so
she
feel
just delightful?
Yes, it's a very
But only by the two
confusing
together.
thing for me, though. It's not all clear.
She never is. In fact, none of the gods are. They're all condescending assholes.
Ah,
Fucking hell, alright.
yes, I can see why.
Except for Halal, she's face value.
Yeah.
You either sacrifice a sheep or you're dead.
Oh, okay. Sheep.
Well,
Halal wants me
some-
to send her sheep.
sometimes not sheep. I
must like
I
the
was
lamb chops.
talking in the rhetorical sense, of course.
So you all know my door to my room.
Would you know
always
anything
locked.
about
I wouldn't
What's that?
intrude.
And
If I wanted to, I would
no, I'm
try
afraid
opening it
not.
the normal way, even so.
No.
No. Who said anything about the door?
Why do you
Inside
ask?
windows.
Yes.
No, who said anything about the window? No, the wall.
Go through the wall. Clunk. Yeah. But yes. And good luck stealing anything.
14?
Who said I would go in just to steal something?
You see a slight
Just move my bed
twitch,
that little bit.
a movement when you see the
Feel
staff.
right.
But you can't discern the reading.
That's why there's a hole in the
Said
wall.
basically.
And nothing was touched. He moved my bloody bed.
Might have to set up a trap now. Trap.
Anything else I can help you with?
Yes, I just needed more information
Don't worry,
on
now
how to ensure that I
we've got
don't go
a
start
spellcaster.
going mad into loud
Pardon?
service.
Now we've got a spellcaster.
So, has she told you any rules and
Next
regulations?
level.
Mine is just to play to my heart's
And
content.
spell slot.
Mine is to just not remember.
Just put firewall in
Then
that
you
one.
should
No,
do
not firewall
that,
in
and if
one,
you
please.
do
Thank you very much,
remember,
goodbye.
you're kind of screwed.
Okay, I'm going to avoid remembering, and I will
'Cause you never
avoid
know when you might
remembering
need a
this
firewall.
conversation with you.
We didn't really have a confrontation, dear.
Conversation.
Yeah, yes, there we go, dear. The other con.
Yes. I don't like it.
Yes, dear, I get that a lot. But then they hear me play and then they change their tune. See what I did there, dear?
I really don't like you.
I get that a lot, dear.
Okay, I'm going to leave now.
Goodbye.
Yeah, the question I wanted to ask earlier, Street, would my gloves count as a weapon?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
But they're just gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they would see that how magically enchanted they are.
They're not magically enchanted at all. The only thing that's different about them is the fact that they're technically a longsword as a glove.
Yes, there's a longsword for all intents and purposes. Yes. Yes, it's true.
Would I use Tron's longsword?
Right, okay, are we all
Like
happy?
gloves.
Because I'm thinking about probably cutting it off here because it's almost 10 o'clock.
I have nothing else to do for the week, so we can start up at the Colosseum.
What, the tournament?
And then Old
Oh,
first.
oh.
Old is Old is the day before the Colosseum.
Yeah, and then the Colosseum.
Yeah, I don't think we've really got enough time to
Do side quests.
know afterwards.
What day is Old and the Colosseum?
Like I said, would be 4 days.
No,
away now.
day.
I don't, let's
Because
say-
in
let's
the
say
Colos-
let's say it's today, so all would be Friday and tournament would be Saturday.
Oh, good. On Sunday, then I can go to church.
Yeah. Yes, you can go to church.
No, I just want to learn more about Tron. That's all I want to do.
Nice.
Take me to the church on time. Okay, we're all happy?
Yeah.
Alright, okay, so we'll pick up later.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Well,
There we
because
go. Street.
they don't have enough time to do side quests, I think, do you?
That makes sense. I haven't really got any.
We can aim to do side quest next time,
Makes sense to me.
as well as whatever other.
Tournament
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Because it's mainly just because of my old thing. Like, you guys could go on one. I would just say that I would, if it involves me being anywhere or on the fourth day, I would not be there for that fourth day. I'd leave early.
So, bye.